But as a team, I think that we had enough out there tonight that we can build on. I wouldn't show after the Miami game we had enough to build on. But I think after what I saw tonight, I think we can build on it. It's going to take a lot of courage and a lot of guts and a lot of leadership, a lot of quality on the football team to bounce back after tonight, get ready to play Southern Mississippi, our first home game. This is not the way I had it planned, and it's not the way you had it planned. But that's life. Let us learn from it. Let's learn from it. We're nowhere close to being the best that we can be. We're nowhere close to being as close as a football team as we need to be. All of the things that make a difference between winning and losing. We're still not doing as good a job as the coaching staff as we need to do. And we're going to work hard to correct them. But I appreciate you going out there and laying your guts on the line to win the football game tonight. Just know that we're all in a struggle together, men. Me, you, the coaches. This is Auburn's family. Let's stick together. But don't ever doubt the things that we've talked and preached all year long will win.
This is it. It ain't going nowhere but up from here.
I'm going to go back out there and thank our people.
The Auburn Football Review with Coach Pat.
Welcome to the Auburn Football Review. Last night in Austin, Texas 35, Auburn 27. Pat Dye, Auburn's been on national television for its last 5 games now, and the national audiences can't complain. They've all been thrillers.
Well, we got to learn how to, this year's team's got to learn how to win the close ones. And last night, coming down the line at the end, we didn't play well defensively, and we didn't play well offensively. We moved the ball, but we turned it over a couple of times, and we got down close and didn't get any points out of it. If we just make one of those field goals that, we got a chance to win the football game at the end, we wouldn't have been in such a panic to try to score a touchdown. And if we make both of them, then we certainly got a chance to win it. But Texas had an outstanding football team. They got great talent, tradition, and I guess it's been, 17, 18 years since anybody's won an opener there. And we had a lot of things going against us, mainly an outstanding Texas football team.
Pretty stiff breeze, too.
Well, they were ready to win, and the game was, of course, played the way it was played. Was the wind was blowing so hard that you had to get your points while you had the wind. And the thing that was unfortunate for us, the things that we didn't do, is we turned it over twice in the fourth quarter when we had the wind and gave them 2 touchdowns. And we came back and got one, but it was a hard-fought game on both sides. I feel a lot better about our football team today than I did a couple of weeks ago. I think we showed the true Auburn spirit last night, and the thing that it was a very disappointing loss, and of course losing both for I don't know how many weeks, maybe the season, is it's going to be a big blow to our football team. But I think that now we can come together and make a knot a little tighter, and we can still have a fine football season, but it's going to take a great effort on the part of our coaches and great effort on the part of our players, and everybody's got to play up to their potential and better if we can expect to have a good football season now, because we don't have any easy games. You saw what Georgia Tech did yesterday, and Mississippi's got a good football team. Southern Mississippi is going to be outstanding coming into this week. Florida State, everybody we got on the schedule. So if we're going to have a decent football season, then we have really got to eliminate mistakes and start playing as good as we can play.
Let's go into the post-game dressing room and get some player comments now.
We're going to come back. We're going to come back. We're going to get it going. Like Coach Dye said, I believe we have something to build on too, because I felt a lot better about this game than I did the Miami game all the way through. I felt us pulling closer together the whole time. We had some bad breaks.
We still gonna work at it, and we're gonna come back, and things gonna be all right.
We beat ourselves by turnovers and down on the end zone when we jumped off sides. The offense was working exactly the way we wanted it to. It was, you know, we ran the option, and it was working just exactly as we planned. And like I said, we just beat ourselves.
The first one, was it high enough to go if it hadn't been blocked, you think?
I'm not sure. I didn't even know that it was blocked. I didn't get a good kick on it. I tried to push it too hard into the wind.
The second one was just very close, huh?
I felt as if it was good, but I guess the referee had a better position to see.
We made a few key mistakes, you know. That right there what took the game away from us.
Can't do that here.
Can't do that here.
You ready to go home?
Yeah, I'm ready to go home, but I'm not ready to face the people that's there.
You can do it, though, can't you?
Well, I can do it. It's no problem.
It's just going to be tough.
It'll be tough for me.
You'll be stronger when it's over, huh?
Yeah, you know, we'll just have to forget it after tomorrow and work for Southern Miss next weekend.
15 miles an hour, gust to 25. If you knew what you knew now, you would have taken the win, huh?
Well, we didn't have a choice first half. I guess we wanted to toss, and they took the win. But no, I would take it in. I had perfect, just like I wanted it. Had to win in the fourth quarter, and that's the way we planned to win the football game in the fourth quarter. And you know, at times last night we played really well defensively, Phil, and our defensive front. I think Texas had 126 yards on the ground rushing, and they probably had 60 or 70 of that in the fourth quarter. So, you know, until the fourth quarter came around, we had pretty well shut that running game down.
Dodge on the bootleg there, got it in for the first score.
He really did a terrific job for him last night. You know, Texas football team is mostly juniors and seniors that have all been redshirted. Dodge is a fourth-year junior. And, you know, they're just an experienced football team that's got great talent and great ability. They don't have what you would call you know, an outstanding breakaway running back, but they're a big, strong, physical football team, and they know how to play the game. This is the first quarter, and of course, Texas has got the win here, and we come out and don't move the football in the first quarter, and they get good field position twice and get two in. Now we come back with a win, and we ran straight at Texas last night, and we threw the ball, and we did about what we wanted to do. Really, we just turned it over a couple of times too many, and there was a difference in the ball game. You know, Bo hadn't worked at practice. He practiced a little, but he had had any contact, and you can see that you know, during the game last night he was really not full speed. Well, Gray would never have caught him on a long run he made. There's a guy right there. You can see he is just absolutely fighting his guts out to win the football game, and it was you know, I think our football team grew up a great deal between the Miami game and the Texas game. I just hope that this loss doesn't take so much out of them that they won't come back and be as good as we can be. As an option on the goal line, Pat Washington pitching to Kyle Collins and getting it in for the touchdown, and that makes it 14-7. And of course, we right back in it. Now, you know, another thing right here, that of course Texas is you know, they're a great defensive football team, and we got it down there 2 or 3 times and didn't score. We kicked it too many field goals, and that was a great play by Gerald Robinson, and Harold Hallman falls on the fumble out at the midfield, and we take this one in and get a field goal out of it. And you can see that Bo doesn't have his normal quickness and all.
He normally runs by that tackle.
Here's a fourth down play, great play right here by Pat Washington, and on the bootleg, pick up about 8 or 10 yards on the first down, going in for the field goal. You know, we actually have a touchdown call back last night, Phil.
Right.
We were moving down on the goal line, and I tell you, Texas's band's got those cowbells out there, and you can't hear much when you got the football. That makes it then. This is a great thing for our football team here that showed maturity and poise, and I think we come back and stop them right here. Fine play by Joe Robinson. Just looking at the film, I think our defensive ends played well, John Daly, and we get good containment on the quarterback and pressure, and has Ben McCurdy out there covering, and we get the football back here and take it down and get a field goal right before the half. Tommy Agee breaks out on a nice game with a fullback draw out of our trip formation. And
30 seconds to go. Now it's 18 seconds to go.
Well, we come back and Pat hits Freddie Way again. And Freddie had a big night last night, and come back and we had 6 seconds on the clock, and I mean, that's perfect execution, perfect. We ended up with 1 second. We told him to give what he could and get the ball out of bounds, and so he ended up getting I think we were already in field goal range, but 6 yards, 8 yards closer would certainly put us in better position, and we go in at halftime with momentum, and there's no question in my mind about winning a football game right here.
We'll be back in just a minute. The plan then was to hang on in the third quarter and give yourself an opportunity to win in the fourth quarter.
We won the toss at the start of the game, and they elected to take the win, and which was a smart move on their part, as it turned out, because they scored 14 points. And of course, we get 13 in the second quarter, and which meant, of course, that we had the choice in the third quarter. We took the ball, and they took the win again, and gave us a win in the fourth quarter, which is exactly the way we wanted it. And we start out and play well, and they come up with a great play right here. The quarterback under pressure, and we had kind of a missed assignment in the secondary, and they got a guy out there free. It was a big third down, 3rd and 15, I believe, for them. And here they hit us on a blitz that just have the perfect play call for the situation, and we bring in our weak side corner, and the safety was running over the top, and they ran a post right into it. And it was a great play and catch right there by Bo on the sideline. Big third down play for us, and we get it out to around midfield. It was a nice throw and catch by Pat Washington, and Freddie Way again gets the ball down to the 5-yard line, and Bo's going to score on the next play.
Really great blocking on this play. See why Kyle Collins is playing. He takes that in.
Well, we went into the game planning to play Kyle and Bo together, and Tim Justin and Brent Fullwood together, and Collis Campbell and Reggie Ware behind. As you can see time and time again, you know, we get a lot of folks around the ball. Greg Carr and Ben Thomas and Harold Hallman really played a great football game last night. There's John Daly and Ben McCurdy.
They have to give it up again on the punt this time.
We you know, right at this particular part in the game, we're playing well enough to win. Here's we had a kind of a cross up there, and Bo breaks out of there with us. And you can see Bo limping on his left ankle right there. He just is not full speed. He would have put this one in the end zone. As Kyle Collins hustling downfield in front of Bo to help him. And
is this the play he hurt his
that's
shoulder?
That's right there is where he separated his shoulder when he fell over on the sideline. And the thing that we didn't get any points out of this particular field position right here. And, of course, we were going into the win here. And as a matter of fact, we scored in the third quarter going into the win.
Right. Touchdown here might have won the game.
Right. And I don't think this ball would have been good if it hadn't have been blocked. But the guy got his hand on it, but I think he just kicked it low. And
Auburn's next possession.
Costly play right here. They get the ball on the 16-yard line and take it in for the touchdown and make it 28-19.
This is now in the fourth quarter. They're going against the wind.
They played a lot of running backs against us, a lot of different ones, and they were all good. I don't think there was a great one in the crowd. This is a little cutback play right here. We have a missed tackle, and the guy goes in the end zone for the touchdown. Makes it 28-19, and we still got plenty of time, and we're moving the football on Texas, really doing about what we want to. We can run it inside.
Bo was playing with that separated shoulder.
Yeah, Bo went back in the ballgame. He told me, Doc said he was hurt, Bo said he was hurt, and I said, well, can you play? He said, yes, and so I said, well, we need you, and so he went back in the game, and of course, when I found out his shoulder was separated, we didn't play him anymore. But that was a nice throw and catch by Freddie Way again, and there's a big play to Jeff Parks, gets the ball down to the 5-yard line. As Brent Fullwood takes it to the
almost scores
to the half-yard line. And this is where, you know, poise and confidence right here. We score right here. Ball goes into the end zone, and we have a procedure penalty. And that right there, now if we go for 2 and make it, then, and of course it's going to be what, 27 to...
Miss the field goal.
27 to 19, and still got plenty of time.
27-28,
Like I said,
yeah.
we're moving the football. We got the win. Right here, we probably went to the well once too often, and you know, we had a deep route called, and the protection broke down, and the guy hit Pat in the back, and we fumbled the ball, and we're still scratching and biting, but they are too. You got to give them credit for it. They hit that little cutback play up inside, and Brooks was pretty good with it. That number 35, Johnson, I believe is his name, played well against us. We've got him stopped at the line of scrimmage. He breaks out of there. We missed 2 or 3 tackles, and he gets it in the end zone for the touchdown and makes it 35 to 19. I guess probably a lot of folks thought we were dead right here, but I didn't, and the players didn't. And we come back and hit Tommy Agee on a little screen, and he runs the ball out to around the 50-yard line. It doesn't take us long to get this ball in the end zone here. Pat comes back and hits Clayton Buford for a nice gain. First down. Here he hits Kyle Collins in the flat for down to the 35. Collis Campbell on the draw down to the 30. We actually run our no-huddle offense here, and Collis Campbell again down to the 20. I believe that was a 4th down play right there. Pat hits Clayton Buford down to the 9-yard line. Hits Tim Jesse in the flat.
He's really throwing the ball now.
Down to the 2. And Brent Forward over the top for the touchdown.
35-27, onside kick coming.
And we've got time we can score again. And
2.5 minutes.
Right, we got plenty of time. No panic. That's an onside kick. That guy hit it before it went 10 yards, and our kick recovered it just like you draw it up in practice, and we're back in business.
2 minutes, 32 seconds remaining on the clock.
We had Clayton going down the seam on the route, and Jerry Gray, that All-American free safety, makes a great play on the interception, and that stops the drive, but we still get it back. Because they're trying to run the clock out. John Daly makes a fine play.
Take the last time out, and then they run the clock.
Now, if Tommy could have got out of bounds right there, we'd have had one more play. But we didn't get out of bounds, and the clock ran out. And we had called a play hoping that he could get out of bounds, get the ball a little closer to where we could throw the ball into the end zone one last time for a chance to score and at least tie the football game.
35-27, Texas over Auburn. We'll return in just a minute. In the week, you said that you were more concerned with building a football team than beating Texas. Do you think you made some progress in that?
I don't think there's any question about it, Phil. We were closer together through our preparation for the Texas game. You could feel it on the sidelines last night. I don't think we're there, however. I still think we got some work to do. I think and right now it's a big challenge to our coaches and our players, as leadership on our football team, to not give up, to not write the season off because Bo's going to be out. We've got a tough schedule. We can still have a lot of fun in this season. I mean, it's a game. You know, I know our people are disappointed. I'm disappointed. Players are disappointed. But we got a lot of football left to play, and we won't be favored in too many of them probably, but we get back to playing football the way that we believe and the way that the players believe, and we can still have a fine football season, and we're not out of the conference race yet.
The thing about Southern Miss is they are good, and they don't get a lot of respect. They're hard to prepare for.
Well, they'll be good against us, and they've always played us tough, and they've got a great little quarterback, and DeJarnette, and that quarterback is, you know, he's seasoned, and so it'll be everybody we play's got good football players, and you know, we're not playing anybody that there's any blanks out there. So it's a big challenge for us, and one that I'm excited about. I'm looking forward to it. It's certainly different today than it was 6 weeks ago. But that's what you deal with in this coaching profession. We don't have any say-so about who gets hurt and who gets injured, and the thing that we do is we work with the youngsters that we got and try to get them to reach their fullest potential.
You're getting really thin now at the halfback spot.
Well, we'll probably make some adjustments back there. We'll probably move Collis Campbell back to halfback, and of course Tommy and Reggie Ware and Demetrius Threet should be coming back from an injury, and we just got to, overall offensively, we got to execute better. Defensively, we've got to play better. I don't think that you can put your finger on any one thing defensively. I think we played better against Texas than we did Miami, but we still, didn't play well enough against a good football team, and we've got to get better. I don't think our tackling is as good as it should be. So we got to come up with more big plays, and like I said, we got a lot of football in front of us, and I'm looking forward to getting on with it.
And we'll see you next week with a replay of Southern Miss.
The Auburn Football Review with Coach Pat Dye has been brought to you by Colonial Bank, Louder Realty, Better Homes and Gardens, Federated Guarantee Life, Pepsi and your local Pepsi bottler, Long's Electronics, and Snapper.
See the artwork of New Orleans artist Ida Kohlmeyer at the Montgomery Museum of Fine Art, 440.
16-0, Georgia Tech leads.
Auburn Tiger football.
Looking ahead.
Each day before practice, every Auburn football player steps up to this window in the Coliseum where he's issued his practice gear. From jerseys to socks to mouthpieces, the Auburn equipment room looks like a giant sportswear store. It stocks everything it takes to equip a major college football team. But there's much more to it than handing out equipment. It's a costly and important operation. Auburn's football equipment foreman is Frank Cox.
Well, the inventory and control and maintenance and the purchasing of all the equipment, we maintain probably a $250,000 inventory of athletic equipment at any one time, and that's a lot of money. The other side of the coin, and really the bottom line on the whole thing, is the protection of the athlete, and he needs to have confidence in the equipment that he wears.
And when it comes to protection, Cox makes sure it's available for Auburn's players. That involves keeping abreast of the latest and best equipment on the market, keeping track of inventory, and making sure it's all in top shape before a player wears it out onto the practice or game field. Just to give you an idea of what it takes to outfit a football team, think about just shoes. Including walk-ons, there are approximately 120 Auburn football players. Multiply that by 2, and you have quite a few feet to cover. And Cox says that the shoe business has become more and more complex.
The shoe business has gotten very sophisticated as far as athletic and cleated shoes are concerned. We inventory about 10 different styles of shoes, 6 for turf and 4 for grass. So an athlete has several choices depending on the position that he plays and what size he is.
So now when you see the blue jerseys and familiar Auburn helmets come onto the field each Saturday, you'll have a little better idea of just how they get there. From the athletic department, Mike Hubbard for the Auburn Football Preview.
It was there all the way. When we went out saying that we needed one to get, the open eye kicking games up, and everybody, we got in the huddle and we pulled our steps together and we told everyone to get one man. And everybody got a man. One of their men must have tripped up. Eddie broke loose, him and Arthur Johnson, and also Terry Walker. They broke loose, and I just broke up behind them. And just utilized the speed, and we were gone.
One guy you had to run by.
One guy. And that was the easy part.
David King, he threw a key block. He kicked number 96 out, and fortunately I got down the sideline without anybody touch me, and I saw an open lane and cut back. And, it's just lucky.
I feel very strong and very deeply that we got quality people. And I haven't felt any different. I just, you know, and going back to the Miami game, I take that responsibility. That was my fault. I thought we played our hearts out and felt your guts out against Texas. And I thought you came out here tonight and showed a lot of class. And, you know, this whole game we're out there playing tonight is, nights like tonight is what makes it so wonderful. Because you can look back and, you know, you just can't pick out any one superstar. A lot of folks contributed. Defensive lineman, defensive end, secondary, kicking game, offense, defense, all of it. And that's what makes it so wonderful. That's what makes it so great. But don't ever doubt the things that we've talked and preached all year long will win.
This is it. And it ain't going nowhere but up from here.
I'm going to go back out there and thank our people.
The Auburn Football Review with Coach Pat.
Welcome to the Auburn Football Review. Last night, 75,000 fans at Jordan-Hare, Auburn 35, Southern Miss 12, and War Eagle sounded good in the dressing room after the game, Coach.
Well, Phil, it was a big win for us. I was scared to death going into the game, I promise you. Southern Mississippi's got a fine football team. They've got good players. We'd watched them go into Athens and between the hedges and play Georgia right down to the wire and had a chance to win the game. I knew that we were a football team with potential, with very little confidence, and but you know, we did what we had to do last night, and I'm so proud of our coaching staff and players for just, you know, for not being discouraged and you know, in the face of what we've been through. Came out last week and worked extremely hard to improve on all the little things, and we still got a long way to go before we're going to be a polished football team and a good football team. But I think we got a chance to get there if we can just keep on doing the things that we're doing, and you know, as long as you're working on the right things and doing the right things, then maybe something good's going to happen to us before the year's over, because I do think it is still a lot of potential on this football team. The thing that I've said all along is, you know, a lot of it's young and a lot of it's inexperienced. Even some of the older guys that are playing now haven't played that much. So I hope we can use this game as a stepping stone and one to gain some confidence. And I know that the game, the people that saw it, and you look at it on the film, a lot of folks contributed to the win last night. I can't recall a game where so many different players had a big part in the outcome of it. The kicking game was outstanding. The specialty team part
Probably
of the
best all around.
Right. Robert McGinney did a great job kicking off, and we didn't have to kick any field goals. And you know, our coverage has been outstanding, and so, you know, we got some things around our football team that, and I tell you something else, we got a few kids on our football team, not all of them, but we got a few kids on our football team playing right now and have played all year long as hard as any that I've ever been around. I never have been around kids that are playing any harder than Tommy Agee and Tommy Powell and Arthur Johnson and Jeff Parks and of course Kyle Collins right now, and you know and we've got others too, but those just stand out in my mind right now that you know, just playing with everything they got to win.
All right, and we'll talk more about that excellent kicking game last night, but now let's go into the Auburn dressing room right after the game.
How you feel?
I
feel great. It's my first win as a quarterback here, and it's something I've been waiting for.
This is a kind of a confidence builder. Will this take a little heat off the guy?
Yeah, I think it's a good start, but...
you didn't have a great second half, but you had a great first half.
Yeah, and he's playing with confidence, and we're not all 11 of us, going out there and playing consistently. It's the beginning. I don't think it'll beat Tennessee. I believe it'll win the SEC, but it's the beginning.
You moved to halfback this time, and it's a position you were not unfamiliar with, though. And then you got the score. How did it feel?
I was kind of surprised when I got open, I thought the guy had me down. And I kept moving my feet, and I just came in open. Next thing I knew, I was running, So it ended up like that.
What did y'all talk about this week without Bo?
Just working hard. We had to go out there, and do what we had to do without Bo, so we just went out there and did it.
Hey, you stayed home tonight, too.
Oh, yes, we had to, because last week against Todd Dodge, saw him broke backside, They saw that happen. I was figuring they're going to try the same play.
Well, I tell you, we're coming a lot closer, and like we're playing together now, and we're knowing what, each guy's going to do. Everybody getting to the ball, and, that's what we're looking forward to.
Is that right, Ben?
Oh, yeah, definitely. It's nice to have a win under your belt at home, especially when, we got the week we got ahead next week against Tennessee.
Yeah, how about Tennessee?
Oh, well, Tennessee's going to be a big powerhouse, and they're going to be just as good as they were last year.
They got tied by Army.
Oh, yeah. They're going to really be fired up, and they're going to come in here and give us a match.
They got one of those strong-arm guys.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Robinson, and he can throw it, 60
when you got a quarterback that you have to, to contain him, keep him from running outside, and plus keep him from dropping back and throwing the long bomb, you get a little bit confusing. You just got a quarterback who just drop back, it kind of makes your job a little bit easier.
Here we go again, another good quarterback.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
It's great to be back in Jordan-Hare Stadium. There's the injured Bo Jackson, who had surgery last Monday. And the defense got after him, Coach.
Well, it looked like old Auburn playing. And of course, we played, we played hard against Texas. There's an outstanding play right there to start the game by Kevin Green. We tackled Sam DeJarnett on the 15-yard line, and they start, and you can see we're getting after them from the very beginning.
They make a first down, but then they didn't make many after that.
We got good penetration, fine play by Ben Thomas and Harold Hallman, and Paul Connors and his staff, Robert, they just absolutely had the stadium magnificent. The grass was just a beautiful color. That's Pat Washington hitting Jeff Parks on a bootleg pass.
3rd and 10 here.
This is a big play right here. Pat hitting Freddie Wiggin across the middle, and Freddie just is really playing well. He's just beyond where he's supposed to be right now as a freshman. Of course, we felt like that when we were recruiting him, and he is certainly not disappointed anybody. Kyle Collins running inside on the counter dive. We're going to take this one all the way in.
Right here, getting the first down.
Brent making a first down. And Pat's going to score here on the bootleg. He just takes it on the corner and outruns him to the goal line.
That's speed. You can't beat speed.
Pat, I thought, really probably improved more in practice last week and we really worked on the basics. And as you can see, we had pressure around Duckworth all night long, but we didn't tackle very well, I didn't think, at times last night. We just, because a guy like Duckworth, and he is so quick and so strong that he can make you miss a few tackles. And
Tommy Powell, 3rd and 4.
You're going to see Tommy make a lot of plays. I believe that's Gerald Robinson. John Daly coming from the backside. And John played much better last night. Kevin Green, it looked like our defensive ends all played well last night. There's Clayton Buford catching a little stop route, getting out of bounds.
We saw how Pat can throw the football.
Well, I believe we took the first 2 in last night, didn't we?
Right.
There's another great catch right there by Freddie Wiggin. And
replay.
And you can see this ball's overthrown right here. And when I saw it leave Pat's hand, I said, well, he's overthrown it, and Freddie just goes and gets the thing. Here's Collis Campbell. Right there, they got good blocking and good movement. And
look at it again.
Cornerback came up outside. Collis, let's get in the end zone before you hold that thing up now. I have seen it come out of folks' hands when they try to get that. Collis did that a couple of times. He is so strong, and I couldn't be happier. He has been worked and worked and worked and been hurt some and played behind Tommy A.G., and nobody's any more popular on our football team than Collis Campbell is.
Watch Andre Bruce here.
Right here. Andre is not far from being in a playing status. He's working hard and getting better each week, and he is going to be a great football player. That's Chet Williams. We played 4 or 5 linebackers last night. Chet Williams, Ray Corin, and
3rd and 12.
Pat Thomas, a lot of different ones. There's Tommy Powell again. I don't know how many tackles Tommy made last night, but he was around the football all night long. And
in the second quarter now, they get a little drive going here.
You can see that we're getting a lot of folks around the football, and you know, I really thought we played pretty well defensively. And stop what they do best. Now, Sam hurt us some, and the little quarterback hurt us some, but they're great football players, and they're going to do that.
Here's something Auburn did well last year, returning a score with a long drive.
This is Pat pitching the ball to Kyle Collins on the option, and there's Brent Fullwood on an outstanding run right here for a first down on a little draw play. And
3rd and 7 now.
There's another throw and catch from Pat to Freddie Wagan, just running our offense here. As Eddie Graham.
Played a lot of backs last time.
Nice gain up to for about 8 or 9 yards. And
4th and 1 right here.
Big Reggie Ware is going to be our designated short yardage runner, I think. He's Pat Washington keeping the ball on the option.
On the goal line now. Well, the offensive line.
Has Tommy Agee again. You know, our offensive line, I know, played well last night and got movement on their people. And there's Brent Fullwood going in for the touchdown. And we got, you know, at the half last night, we'd played about as well as we could play offensively. And it's disappointing the second half that we didn't score a touchdown on offense. There's 2 missed tackles right there. That's what I'm talking about. You gotta stay in a football position. You gotta break down, and you gotta get in the middle of those guys like that because he's strong. And there's a nice play by Gerald Robinson. And
3rd and 8.
And
Harold Hallman makes a good play.
Harold and Tommy Powell again. As Alex Duchalk played a lot last night and played well.
37-yard field goal there by Banks. Here's a good one. And that's the way it is at half. 21 for Auburn, Southern Miss 6. We'll be back in just a minute. Feature today, the computer age has come to Alabama's farming industry and has been hated.
I had an opportunity to meet Dr. Thompson that you just saw.
Dr. Ann Thompson,
right.
Cooperative Extension Service Director.
Right, she's just newly on the staff. I met her over at Dr. Martin's house Wednesday night, I guess. But I think that the excitement around Auburn University right now is at an all-time high as far as the students, the faculty, and Dr. Martin. And, you know, we just got to get our football team in the right place. And
team's got to catch up,
right? So we'll get into the second half. Sue said our band was outstanding again last night, and it was just, it doesn't surprise me at all because they do such a great job. And our fans were just out of this world. You know, I don't know, what do they call that cheer that we had? The wave. The wave last night. The only thing wrong with the wave is we got to get the wave going when the other team's on offense rather than us.
That's right. I can see the guys looking up out there, you know, what's
well,
going
it
on?
handicaps you. As quarterback, we want to handicap somebody's quarterback. We want to handicap the other team's quarterback.
That's right.
So
we love
it, but you're going to see a thing of beauty right here. Now, Arthur Johnson, I know there was some good blocks right here, but Arthur Johnson gets 2. He's already blocked 1. Watch him right there. He gets the last one. It knocks him down. As Eddie Graham and
Chet Williams
Terry
had
Walker,
a good block at the point of attack.
Right. Terry Walker. I think Chet might have knocked down 2 at the early in the when it started. And
look at the trainer there.
Yeah, Bo. He and Brent roommates on the road.
Yeah.
It was a great play right there. Gerald Williams has played as fine a football in the last 2 games as any defensive tackle that we've ever had around Auburn. And here's a nice play right here by Gerald Robinson. And we're just, you know, we're not there yet, but we're gaining on it defensively.
That shows you what happens when you get after a quarterback. He makes mistakes. Through behind.
And Pat was more aggressive last night, running the ball than he's been. And I
3rd
think
and 7. This is a big play.
He's really is a great run right here by Collis Campbell. And you see Collis, see the pure strength he's got right there. Just those big legs. Here's another little run for first down right there by Collis. Collis is about 220 pounds and old man.
It was Auburn's first mistake in the game.
It was a fumble too. I thought he was on the ground, but that guy reached in there. I wish we could run that back and look at it a little closer, but he didn't have it in the right place. He's got to hold that thing. There's Sam, and Sam thought he was going to outrun Nate, but Nate didn't think so. So that's his old buddy. They came to Auburn together 5 years ago. Nate runs him down and keeps Sam scoring that touchdown. There's Ben McCurdy and Harold Hallman, and there's a fine play right here by Alvin Briggs.
Now it's third down.
Third down and long, and I don't know. Alvin said that this guy gave him a little nudge right there, and he might have. I don't know. But it was a touchdown for Southern Mississippi.
They go for two, and it fails. Good play there.
Well covered by Victor Beasley, and it's 28-12, and we're going to move the football a little bit on offense, but we just don't take one in to score. We turned the ball over twice the second half, and that kept us from getting on the board. They never did really, I don't think, what you would call shut us down. They kept running the bootleg again. And
here comes the interception.
We had a guy, Kyle Collins, is open down the boundary here, and I really think that Pat tried to pull the string on that one a little bit and not throw it late, and ended up not getting anything on it. But
here's where the defense takes charge, though.
That's what you like to see right there. That's playing football like Auburn's supposed to play it, and those guys are having some fun. And that guy right there he's trying to get on the ground, and
Coach getting a little excited?
Well, you know, I'm going to tell you, I don't know whether I've ever felt as much pressure to win a football game as I did that one last night. And I don't know whether it was self or whatever, but because I just want us to be the best we can be, and we've been far from it, and we're still not there. But the kids, we got a good bunch of kids. And I told Jeff last night, he's got to try to work himself to stay in bounds, and you know, he could turn up the field and run over some of those little old defensive backs. Pat runs out of here now and makes a nice little game, but we still end up punting the football here.
Lewis Colbert angling for the corner.
Yeah, Lewis hadn't really had what you would call, since that first ball game up there against Miami, hadn't really had what you'd call an outstanding night kicking the football. He kicked into the 40-mile-an-hour wind out there in Texas, but as Gerald Williams and Alex Duchak.
Alex Duchak played hard. Here he comes again.
You know, I think that's
Green.
Kevin Green. The goal, I guess.
I was encouraged to see the defense get stronger in the
here
fourth
it is,
quarter.
Purdy right here. Well, that was actually, we had a middle return on there, and I don't know if Trey got outside, and yeah, I tell you, he looked pretty quick at it. And, there's David King, and a little excitement, and
He's had two of those, Tennessee.
Trey Gaines,
last year.
Cute as he can be. I tell you what, he's meant a lot to our football team in 2 years. He's not, he wouldn't measure like you would want him to, but I tell you, if you measure him in the heart, he'd be as big as anybody on our football team.
We'll be back in just a minute. The defending Southeastern Conference champion goes in the conference against Tennessee next Saturday at Jordan-Hare.
Well, I think that, you know, there's no question that Tennessee is going to be on an all-time high. They feel like they've got a chance to win the conference championship, and they certainly do. They're playing extremely well. I don't know what happened up there yesterday with the tie with Army, but Robinson is...
Probably getting ready for Auburn.
Robinson has done an outstanding job at quarterback for them. They probably got the best running back in America now that Bo has heard, and Johnny Johnson and Johnny Jones. And we've got to get ready to... We got to play better on defense, number one. We got to tackle better than we've tackled, and offensively we got to continue to improve. And eliminate the mistakes. We won the game last night 35-12. We got two touchdowns on the kicking game. The two turnovers that we had in the game and what our offense produced would have made it a 21-12 ball game. So we're not perfect by any means. You heard Coach Crow say that we're not good enough right now to beat Tennessee, so we got to get better in practice this week in order to have a chance.
And we'll have the replay next Sunday, so you be with us.
The Auburn Football Review with Coach Pat Dye has been brought to you by Colonial Bank, Louder Realty, Better Homes and Gardens, Federated Guarantee Life, Pepsi and your local Pepsi bottler, Long's Electronics, and Snapper.
Dr.
DeVille's and the Smart Cimarrons. It's 40.
Father, we thank you for life. We thank you for all the blessings you've given us, Lord Jesus. We thank you for this victory, Father, but we also ask that you be with the other team. Let them arrive safely back to Tennessee. Be with the many fans on their way back home. Father, we just love you, praise you, and honor you, giving you all glory. Amen.
It's not going to get any easier. It's going to get tougher. But that's the way you ought to want it. That's the way you ought to want it. That's like life is. The bigger you get and the higher you go, the tougher it's going to get. And the men will stand up and the weak ones will fall by the wayside. And we will know where our place is on down the line. I don't think we can play any worse on offense than we played today as far as the mistakes we made. And maybe we got that one out of our system. And maybe we can learn from it. The concentration. And Greg, I'm sorry I missed you out there in the middle of the field. I looked for you, but you were gone. I told Greg that I would mention it on Monday, and I will mention it on television, that it appeared to me that our linebackers played a lot better today, Coach. I saw some sparks fly a time or two out there. You know, it's fun to win, isn't it? But don't ever doubt the things that we've talked and preached all year long will win.
This is it. It ain't going nowhere but up from here.
I'm going to go back out there and thank our people.
The Auburn Football Review with Coach Pat Dye. Brought to you by Colonial Bank, Louder Realty, Better Homes and Gardens, Federated Guarantee Life, Pepsi and your local Pepsi bottler, Long's Electronics, and Snapper.
Welcome to the Auburn Football Review. Yesterday, Jordan-Hare Stadium, jam-packed crowd in the conference with Tennessee, and Auburn won 29-10, and what a defensive show that was, Pat Dye.
I think I think we made some progress in that area. I thought that it was a hard-hitting football game. Tennessee hit us, and we hit them, and they caused some turnovers and forced some mistakes, and we made some, and of course we forced them into some mistakes, and fortunately we were able to move the football and control it a little better than they were, and we came out a winner. It was a big win for us. There's no question about it. I think we grew some as a team last week. I think that I can kind of feel our team coming together. And we're going to have to be together with what we got facing us down the rest of the schedule.
Your plate is full, I'll tell you.
Well, we got to go to Oxford, Mississippi next week, and they don't get any easier. And after that, we've got 2 or 3 undefeated teams on our schedule. So but it was a big win for us, and I was mighty happy for our players. And we had some individuals that stood out, and I was happy for our linebackers. You saw it.
You've been on them for a couple of weeks.
Well, I have. I guess that's a hang-up with me. Being an old linebacker coach, I expect more out of our linebackers maybe than most people do. But and in all fairness to them, Greg's been hurt. Ben McCurdy's played hurt all year. Jim Bone played his first game since the Miami game yesterday, coming off of a sprained knee. Chet Williams is playing, and we've got some other youngsters that have the ability to play, and I hope they're going to come on and help us. But you're going to watch your tape today, and you can see that we got great effort and great intensity, and played the game the way it's supposed to be played. If we take turnovers out of it, it would have been unbelievable.
Okay, let's go in the dressing room now and talk to some of those players. Alvin, boy, you reckon they'll start throwing balls somewhere else besides your side now that you've had that interception?
Nah, I believe they'll pick on me some more.
They will?
Yeah.
You must be Auburn's designated Tennessee interceptor. You've had one the last 2 years, right?
I believe I got lucky today. He threw it right to me. I couldn't. I'd have been crazy to miss it, but well, I think the defense played well today, and the coverage was there when we needed it, and I was real happy with the win.
And that's what it takes, just a secondary to hold just one more second, just a half a second, and it gives the defensive ends and linemen a chance to get to the quarterback.
Well, you got your first start. How did you feel?
Oh, it was nice. I came off the ball pretty good, I thought. And, well, the offense, we did a poor job of handling the ball, but the defense came through.
Now, tell me the truth. Were you scared?
Me? I was nervous at the beginning. But once I came off the ball once and he hit me, it kind of went out.
Did he hit you hard?
Yeah, it was pretty hard.
Hey, you made a great play on the goal line. Did you know where you were just short of the goal line?
No, I really didn't know where I was, but I saw the ball up in the air, and he jumped for it, and I just went through, tried to go through him. I didn't know where I was. I didn't have any idea.
You didn't know you were keeping him out of the end zone, huh?
No.
Well, you did, though, didn't you?
Luckily, yeah.
And you just caught him from the backside?
Yes, sir. They move us in the linebacker, me and Tom, and have Greg in the middle of us, and we just come on that play and lucky to open up and just made the tackle.
We had a little trouble at times moving, executing. But I think we controlled the line of scrimmage at times, and other times we had breakdowns.
Do you recall how remarkably alike Bo's tippy-toe run that one was against Tennessee last year? Same positions, same yardage?
Well, I'm not about to say that I do anything like Bo Jackson. I wish I did, but I remember that run. I sure do. I hadn't thought about it till now. I guess it could be familiar, but Bo Jackson has the ability to do it. I just got the luck.
Hey, ever helped a team like that?
I tell you, our fans were something yesterday. Goodness, I'm telling you, they handled the wave at the right time. As John Daly, and I tell you, John Daly, you couldn't help but see him. But I really haven't talked to the coaches yet about the grades on the film, but I didn't see anybody didn't play well in the ball game. John Daly and Gerald Williams made a ton of tackles and plays, and Harold Hallman and Ben Thomas, and that would go on offense. And this is the first time we get to football. We just take this thing right down the field, and it just looked like it's going to be so easy. It wasn't all easy. There's Pat Washington pitching to Brent Fullwood. Good block by Kyle Collins. Good run by Brent. Get the ball right down the field. And you're going to see a Tennessee man make a great play right here. Just put his hat right on the football.
Oh.
And Brent, in all fairness to him, and you're supposed to have that ball squeezed tight enough to where it doesn't make any difference what angle you get hit at, that you're not going to turn it loose. But I don't believe he ever saw him coming. And a great play by Tennessee, and a big play for him. He kept us out of the end zone. There's a fine play by Ben Thomas, and Gerald Williams, Harold Hallman in the middle there, and they just fighting and scratching. There's good pressure by Kevin Green and tackled by Greg Carr.
Going the other way now, middle of the first quarter.
There's Pat reading and handing off to Reggie Ware, I believe, on a short yardage play, and there's Reggie on a fine block. Bootleg, Pat picks up, boy, he gets hit right here. That scared me to death. I thought he got hurt. And
3rd and 9 play right here.
Tough as a ladder knot.
That was a great catch.
Great catch by Kyle Collins again. Kyle had a super day yesterday. There's a handoff pitch. I thought it was a hand. This is a great run right here. Watch Kyle walk tightrope down the sideline, gets it in the end zone, and you know, Kyle said he didn't have much ability, and he has really come on, and he's got more ability than he probably realizes himself. But great job right there. Now, you don't realize what a great play that was, and it didn't look like nobody hit anybody, but to recognize that screen and pick it up the way Edward Phillips did and make him throw the ball into the ground. And there's Johnny Jones, and of course he got hurt in the ball game yesterday, and I think he was hurt coming into the game, but he is certainly a great football player, and I hope he gets well for.
First play of the second quarter.
There's an outstanding play by Tommy Powell, and you know, we're getting closer to getting everybody playing the same speed on defense as Tommy Powell and Arthur Johnson, and the closer we get to that, then the better we're going to be. Pat turns it upfield, and Tennessee had a good plan and gave us some problems on the option. Pat comes back and throws it straight away again. Picks up 12, 13, 14 yards.
But the drive stalls, and Lewis Colbert has to punt it away.
This was probably the greatest thing we did yesterday, is our punting game down in the ball. We had great field position all day long. Lewis did a super job in the coverage, and on our specialty teams, I just covering them up right there. There's Chet Williams and Ben Thomas and Harold Hallman, and there's a great play right there by Gerald Robinson. Gerald Robinson had a similar play last year against Robinson. He hit him in the back, and we got a fumble, a turnover down close, and got a touchdown or a field goal or something out of it. But anyway, we got a safety here. They punt. Trey Gaines runs it back, I think 14 yards or so.
You can see Tennessee is really.
They you know, they played as hard as you know, as a football team can play, and we got penetration there, and we lacking something right there with our offense and turning the football over. Pat didn't play well yesterday, and he'd be the first one to tell you. Had some good plays and big plays. There's Gerald Williams again. Every time you look up, you see that number 98 around the football.
Uvez kicks a field goal, 40-yarder, 9-3. Next series for Auburn.
There's a nice run block. Who was that made the block cut there? Was that Brent? Kyle Collins makes about a 15-yard run on a sweep down the sideline. Here's Pat coming outside. There's Kyle blocking on the corner right there. Fine run right here by Pat.
It's turning into an option quarterback.
I think that was about a 26-yard run, wasn't it? Here we get sacked. Guy just whipped us up inside.
3rd and 21 coming on this play.
This is a big play right here. Pat's a little roll to get away from the pressure. Hit straight away again on a crossing route. What was that, a 23-yard play? 23-yarder.
First down.
Kept the drive alive for the touchdown. Collis Campbell, we're not getting the football to Collis enough. We got to get the football to him more. I don't think he was tackled a time yesterday. They knocked him out of bounds 2 or 3 times, but I don't believe they knocked him on the ground either. Well, I guess they did, but he's just so big and strong, and he had a great week of practice last week. Great option right there by Pat. Block and run by Kyle Collins, takes it to the 1-foot line, and Reggie Ware's going to get it in there from there.
It's Auburn's short yardage specialist there,
Well, he's about 240, and you're going to see him early in the game. He's got to learn how to move his feet when he gets up in that thick traffic on our read stuff inside, because he breaks out of there, and you know, you can't run into too many piles. There's a big tight end they throw to on a crossing route, and tackled by that season, Greg Carr. Good pressure right here, and sacked by Ben McCurdy out of Alabama. Did y'all have a special on Ben?
Banjo.
Yeah, he can do it all. Look at this right here by Gerald Williams. Causes a fumble. Gerald just playing like a mad bull. Just a bad play and a bad call, and we're probably getting a little too greedy there right before the half. Should have run the clock out. That's a fine play by David King and Ben McCurdy. That's a turning point in the ball game to me right here, right before the half. They take it down and make a great play. Nat Caesar keeps them out of it. You never know. That's it. It's a game of inches. Just
That's
that
right.
one play right there kept him out of the end zone, and we come back and keep him out of the end zone again. There's the two strong safeties right there, Arthur Johnson and
Tommy Powell.
Tommy Powell met on the quarterback and kept him out of the end zone. They had 5 seconds to go when they ran that play, and they both got penetration and got there, and great half of football.
What's wrong? To feature today, you will remember the guy who wore number 99 several years ago for Auburn, Edmund Nelson. Let's see what he has to say about his university. A couple of pretty good players have worn that 99.
Well, I'm going to tell you, the Edmund Nelson is one of the cornerstones in Auburn football program since I've been at Auburn.
That's right.
He played on our first season team, and we didn't have a winning season, but we built something that we can stand on today.
They've recognized his value at Pittsburgh, too. And the other 99 you'll see in the cutaway here.
There's a Colonial girl there. I picked her out in the crowd.
You'll see Doug Smith in the crowd.
There's Ben Thomas and Greg Carr, and we come back as Arthur Johnson in a short yardage situation. He'd play with his headgear without shoulder pads or any kind of way. It doesn't make any. He's just a football player.
Frank Orgel smiled some yesterday, didn't he?
Here's Brent. Great run right here. Brent running so hard, he's got to rep that ball. I believe Steve Wilson knocked that ball out of his hand, man. I know Steve didn't mean to. He was trying to hip his buddy down there, and we floundering around trying to get on it. Anyway, Tennessee comes up with it, and big break for them at the defense. That's where Jones got hurt right there. Jim Bone put the leather to him, and Ben McCurdy wrapped him up, and they're going to take this one in for a touchdown.
Right.
They hit McGee, and he's got great quickness. And tackle finally knocked out of bounds by Alvin Briggs. And Alvin, they're going to come back to see you. You got to start playing that fade route better. You're going to see a lot more of them.
All right, we're one series away now in the middle of the third quarter.
There's Tim Jesse on the sideline trying to encourage his teammates. You're going to watch it. You think Tennessee's not hitting?
Yeah.
As Brent Fullwood picks up 6-7 yards. Tommy A.G. running inside. Picks up another 4 or 5, and we were kind of hunting and pecking. There's Collis Campbell again. And he just runs down the sideline. They knock him out of bounds, ride him down like a big old... Nice throw and catch. That was a critical situation right there. We have one. Maybe that wasn't the one. Maybe that was 1st and 10. But
here comes the touchdown. Look at this running.
This is
following block.
That doesn't look like a guy that doesn't have... I want to tell you something. He had it when he crossed the goal line. But I'm going to tell you something, Kyle. Only time to take the hand off the ball is when you throw it to the official. Let's don't try to get fancy with it here. I know you're excited, and I'm excited, and everybody's excited. I saw that happen one time, and they put the ball on the 20-yard line for a touchback going the other way.
Last year against Florida, as a matter of fact.
And we come back on defense, and we're scratching and getting around the football. And I tell you, Frank Orgel and Wayne Hall and Bobby Wallace and Joe Witt did a great job with our defensive plan against Tennessee. And we've had really excellent plans for Tennessee the last 3 years and have played well defensively against them. And of course, Jack Crow and Bud Casey and Neil Callaway and James Daniels. There's a throw and catch right there. Us throwing and Tennessee catching.
Carl Zanders, a great linebacker.
And there's
Doug Smith.
Doug, he's back at Auburn, working out and getting ready to go to Birmingham. And Dennis Collier, he's still in engineering school. As John Daly, great interception. John had a big interception against Tennessee last year, and just looked like John's playing better every week.
Fourth quarter now.
Great play right here. That is just out of this world. Look at that play by Andre Bruce. He kept that ball out of the end zone, and it put them on the 2-yard line, and that's just as good as if we hold them right here, that's just as good as a touchdown because it just gives you such great field position. That's Kevin Porter in there. We're playing, I think, 8 true freshmen. Phil, there's an outstanding interception right there by Alvin Briggs. Alvin, if you get some more of them, That's going to make them throw the ball over on David King's side.
That's right. David's
you
living on.
You won't have to worry about all that.
David's living on his reputation right now.
And Brent Green going about 6 or 7 yards. And Reggie Ware making the first down.
Comes the touchdown play.
Yeah, that's another fine little old.
No talent, huh?
No talent run by Kyle Collins. People, Kyle didn't say. Look at Brent and Kyle there on the sideline. Somebody write Mr. Van Hoos and tell him that the wishbone is not dead.
520 yards.
Well, it was, he just, there's a great play by Kevin Green, Mike Mann, and I think that I've got to talk to Mike and Coach Crow and Pat, and I think we need to play Mike. We need to go ahead and play him earlier in the game. We should have played him probably. You don't want to.
What's that run?
Well, he got out there and he just looked like he looked around that's Reggie Ware, the big freshman fullback. He broke clean in the secondary. He looked like he looked for somebody to run over instead of running straight on into the end zone.
You held the ball here and got some boos.
Well, it doesn't make any difference. The game was over. Johnny Majors has got a badly crippled up football team. They'd fought their hearts out, and one more touchdown wouldn't have done us any good. Might have done something to damage his football team. And he's a good friend of mine, and I may be on the other sideline one of these days.
We'll be back in just a minute. Billy Brewer came into this league. You said Ole Miss would have good football teams, and they're on schedule, and you got to go up there.
That's exactly right, and they've probably been laid back waiting for us to come. Our football team hasn't played Ole Miss, but I know Billy Brewer, and I know the Ole Miss Rebels, and we'll have to have a great week of preparation, and we had better have them buckled on tight when we get there.
That's going to be a physical football game.
And no doubt about it. They've got a good football team. They give you a lot of problems what they do offensively, and
they got an experienced quarterback.
Undoubtedly, they're a good defensive football team because nobody scored many points against them, and they've already played a wishbone football team this year, and I just, it'll be a big challenge. It's another conference game for us, and it's another opportunity for us to grow and mature. Again, like I said, it's on the road, so we'll find out something a little more about our football team. I like what I found out last week. We just don't leave it on the ground, don't turn it over, and keep getting better, then we're going to have a chance to be a decent football team before the year's over.
And it will be on television for you next week, and we'll have the replay on Sunday. Thank you. We'll see you next Sunday.
The Auburn Football Review with Coach Pat Dye has been brought to you by
an 8 to 10 mile an hour breeze. Here is Sanders, the right footer. He lifts it high, gets a good punt away. Manuel Young calling for the fair catch. By Booth.
Sayers Gray, 2B, Hanover Tigers, Sayers Gray, 2B, Hanover Tigers.
I hope it was good for us. We needed to have to come from behind, and we needed to have to win late. We needed to have to take a ball and drive it. We needed to have to play defense. Go down the road, maybe be playing somebody a little better, and stakes will be a little higher, and we're gonna have to know exactly what it takes to do those things. So, mighty happy for you, proud of you. Auburn won. Get on the bus and go to Alabama. But don't ever doubt the things that we've talked and preached all year long will win.
This is it. And it ain't going nowhere but up from here.
I'm going to go back out there and thank our people.
The Auburn Football Review with Coach Pat Dye. Brought to you by Colonial Bank, Louder Realty, Better Homes and Gardens, Federated Guarantee Life, Pepsi and your local Pepsi bottler, Long's Electronics, and Snapper.
Welcome to the Auburn Football Review. Auburn and Ole Miss slugged it out in Oxford yesterday. The Tigers came back in the second half and won 17-13. What a game, Pat Dye.
Well, I tell you, I got up this morning and read the paper and saw some of the things that went on around the country yesterday with people getting beat that hadn't been beaten before, and knowing what we got into over there yesterday with a mad bunch of rebels, and they got after us, and we weren't quite ready to play when the game started, and I'm telling you, I just feel fortunate to get out of there with a win. They've got a good football team, and they're playing probably a little better than maybe they're really supposed to be playing. But that's what a hungry football team does, and a hungry coaching staff and hungry fans, and you know, it was a good old-fashioned gut check, and I hope that we learned something from it, and I hope that you know, we'll be a better team because of it. We did what we had to do to win the football game, and we made it difficult on ourselves at times. And of course, Ole Miss has got a fine defensive football team. There's no question. In fact, they're better than I thought they were.
Those two second-half drives were the difference in the game.
Well, the thing about it, Phil, that you know, we're offensively, we're still not hitting on all cylinders. I looked at the tape last night, and we didn't execute on the corner, didn't block out there as well as we should have. A couple of times, if we make a block out there on the perimeter, we're going to get long runs, and we don't make a block and end up with no gain of a loss or whatever. And you know, we turned the ball over 3 times yesterday again that hurt us. But I think the second half yesterday, I think we might have come of age in a lot of respects. It looked like a more mature football team to me. Particularly Pat executing in the last half. I know he had the one interception, but that's a ball that you're going to throw up, and Freddie Wiggins going to come down with that one more than he doesn't. And I certainly don't fault him for that. The 2 first-half turnovers, of course, one of them kept us out of a field goal, a possible touchdown, and the other one, our defense came in and did a great job after the turnover to keep Ole Miss from getting any points out of it. And defensively, I thought I don't think we probably played as well as we were capable of playing, but we came up with some big plays, and we stood up when we had to stand up in the second half.
All right, let's go into the post-game dressing room and hear what the players had to say about yesterday's game.
At the other end, late in the game, when you went through the guy, did you think you interfered?
No, not at all. I knew that time I didn't interfere.
The officials didn't either, only the crowd did.
I slipped the official $10, so you would call it.
They had a dang good team. You know, we looked at them on film. We knew they was hungry and they played with a lot of motion. But daggum, they got after our butts and fought us hard. And we was lucky to get out of here with a victory.
Y'all were unhappy with the way you played the first half?
Oh, yes, sir.
Yeah?
It was total misery.
Did y'all get talked to a little bit?
Yeah. You remember George Ted, don't you?
Yeah. Just like
it wasn't quite that bad, but just about.
Well, I don't know.
That's enough.
They got about the best offensive line I don't play against. You know, to be young guys, and you know.
Really strike you, huh?
Oh yeah, and I'm looking for them, and you know, in the future to come, to have a great football team.
Is that where you want the ball low?
Well, yeah. Sometimes the strong safety's coming out, and you need to be careful at the end of the game when you're trying to keep the ball. And it was just really a good throw, just mainly to get the first down and to let us keep the ball and running the timeout.
It looks like it's time in the building every week.
Yes, it is. He's a great one right now, and he's just going to get greater every week.
Did you feel a little better once you drilled him with it back there?
Well, it wasn't exactly a drill, but I felt a lot better knowing it got back there to him all right. And I could hear the ball was wet when I snapped it. I could hear him kick it. You know, as soon as he punted it, I knew it was all right. Yeah, I breathed a little sigh of relief.
Thank you. You know, I had a good snap from Pat, and you know everything went well. They were not coming, so you know you get the sensation when they're coming and when they're not. I had an idea that they weren't, but you know I still got it out pretty quick.
I think you'll improve your 35-yard average.
I think so.
It's good to come back and play a good half after you played a bad one, huh?
Yes, it really is. And then you can carry on some of that to the next week. It took all we had, and it's just going to take all we got for next week.
Vaught Hemingway Stadium in Oxford, Mississippi, a different kind of place to play.
You know, it was, and of course, the conditions were not ideal as far as the field is concerned, and you can see right here, right off the bat, Ole Miss is getting after us, I'm telling you. Well, one thing we didn't mention in the early part of the show, I'm glad you had Lewis Colbert on, because he did a magnificent job of punting the football yesterday, and of course, Pat Moat, the snapper there. This one right here was a disaster. Little kid from Colbert County, Willie Goodlow. We recruited Willie, and he is a fine youngster, I'll tell you that. He's as good as 160 pounds can be. But that set him up for a field goal.
And you know about 160 pounds.
Yeah, we go out there and stop them right here without first down. I think they gained 4 yards in 3 tries, and then kick a field goal and go up 3-0. And, you know, from the very beginning, it was war.
Your team didn't look really sharp through here.
I tell you, I looked around on the sideline in the first half, and the emotions and the look in the eyes, and some of them laughing and snickering and giggling, and it wasn't a laughing and snickering and giggling matter to me. Looked like we were out there for a Sunday afternoon picnic, and I look out there on the field, and they trying to pull our heads off and knock our heads off, and it's just, you know, we wasn't in the frame of mind to handle what was going on. So we had a good session at halftime, and I thought the second half we came back out and fought them a little harder, and we had some good plays throughout the football game. Defensively, this is something right there special now. Arthur Johnson, and that was the highlight of the football game, and probably had a lot to do with us winning the game. That lick right there was by far and away the fiercest hitting the ball game as they were running a quarterback draw, and John Daly. They had a good plan for us. They did a lot of things to try to slow our front people down. Has a good hit by Nate Caesar. Nate had several big plays in the ball game. Here's a tremendous play for them. We shouldn't have lost containment like that. We'd worked on that play all week to keep from losing containment, but they broke containment anyway and got out there. And it was a great throw and catch. The coverage actually was not that bad. David was underneath him, but it was pretty good coverage, and the guy just threw it right in the crack and got it in there. We come back on offense, and we're still not putting drives together like we should. There's a pitch to Kyle Collins. I think Kyle took his eye off the ball and was looking upfield at the pressure rather than the ball. They come back, and we do a great job on defense. Tommy Powell and Greg Carr making this tackle, and they don't get any points out of this. This is a big, big factor in the ball game. He's just throwing it away here, trying to... Excellent coverage downfield, and they miss a field goal. In my opinion, that was a turning point in the ball game right there, because they had a 10-3 lead, and a field goal there would make it 13-3, and we got more troubles than we know what to do with. Tommy Agee played an outstanding football game yesterday, running the football. I don't know how well he blocked, but as another one of the great punts, and he kicked it up there high, and great hang time, and just outstanding. There's Jim Bone and Ben Thomas and Kevin Green, Ben McCurdy. Outstanding play by Tommy Powell. I don't know if that was Nate Caesar at free safety or Victor Bees, but one of them had a... That was the star of the show yesterday, number 94, Harold Hallman. Harold caused 2 or 3 fumbles and had a great play in short yardage situation.
Big sacks.
That was a big play right there in 3rd and long. Pat, this is a touchdown drive now. It's Collis Campbell.
3rd and 1 coming now. This seemed to be on the corner seemed to be the best play in this situation.
You know, Collis is a big, strong guy, and he just, Powell, you need to squeeze that ball a little tighter. Don't let it get so far away from your body, Collis. You got better raising than that. Pat comes out on a bootleg, and I don't know whether he gets a first down there or not, but it's within inches, and I think Reggie Ware makes it the next play and puts us down there close. And Kyle Collins runs it down to the 3. We run one time inside, and Collis Campbell will suck it up and gets it in the end zone, puts us in position here. You got an end zone shot of it. Gets hit good right there. Keeps pulling and pushing and gets it in the end zone for touchdown, and we tie it up 10-10. They come back, and we have a great opportunity right here, and don't cash in on it. There's Ben McCurdy and Gerald Williams. There's Ben McCurdy again, and there's a good gang tackling. Greg Carr.
Here comes the big play.
Watch Harold Hallman pushing, shoving, and hits him from behind. The ball comes out. Gerald Robertson recovers it, the 14-yard line? And
21.
21-yard line, but we got it in good field goal range. And we come back and throw the interception that stops the drive right there. Brent was open coming from one side, and I don't think Pat ever saw the strong safeties hanging back in that dead area there, and he was throwing at Brent coming from the left to his right, and he was sprinting to the right, and I don't think he ever saw the strong safety. So we go out 10-10, and I really feel fortunate to be for it to be a tie ball game, because we had made some critical mistakes in the ball game. Number one, the punt return. We hadn't sustained anything offensively except that one drive. And we had turned the football over down there in field goal range, and they didn't get any points out of it. And I just, you know, I could sense that if we didn't turn the momentum in the ball game around with emotions, then we were fixing to get beat. And of course they did. You know, they rose to the occasion and met the challenge and came out on top of the second half.
We'll be back in just a minute with our Auburn University feature and find out one of the many interesting things going on at Auburn University. I mentioned this several weeks ago. A few months ago, we prepared nearly an hour, a 55-minute recap of the remarkable Auburn season of 1983, when they began with a tragedy and ended winning the Sugar Bowl in the Southeastern Conference for the first time since 1957. It is on half-inch video cassette, either in the VHS or the Beta format. And if you'd like to buy one of these, here's the address you can write for the information. They will send you all the information you need. Dynamic Visuals, P.O. Box 1935, Auburn, Alabama, 36831, 1935. There's some remarkable scenes in that.
I think it's one of the most moving things, and of course, you know, I guess being a part of it made it more meaningful to me. But the season and the way you actually captured the thing when you produced it and narrated it, it's really an outstanding piece of work.
I think a lot
of the season had something to do with it.
It sure did. A lot of old War Eagles would like to have that to keep, I'm sure. Well, let's move into the second half, and as the centers indicated, Coach, you peeled some paint off the wall in there or something.
Well, we just had so much at stake, and you know, this game right here means just as much as a Florida game or Georgia, Alabama, when you're trying to win a conference championship. And we weren't fighting like we were trying to go to the Sugar Bowl, and came back, and that guy made a great interception there, and they actually came down with it together, and that guy just out-fitted for the football.
He jumped a little too early.
Well, you know, I think 9 times out of 10, Freddie may come up with that ball. Or 7 out of 10 times, but he didn't in, and that goes to show you that they just, you know, they were scratching and giving everything the good Lord gave them to play with to play, and that's the way they were playing the game. They come back and move it a little bit, and this is Harold Hallman. I looked at that from a different angle. He whipped 3 blockers to get there. I mean, they had the center and both guards blocking on him, and he just kept pushing and scratching and biting, and that's the kind of effort that we were looking for, and that's what we got in the second half.
This is the big drive.
Pat does a great job here throwing the quick out to Trey Gaines, comes back and hits Clayton on the other side. That secondary, all were about 200 pounds and very active and good football players. Tommy Agee makes an outstanding run right here.
Boy,
that's one that gets himself ready to play every week. You don't have to ever worry about Tommy Agee being ready to play because he's just going to be ready to play. Here, Pat's pitching on the option to Kyle Collins, and Kyle picks up 5 yards. He comes back, hits Jeff Parks on I believe that was a 3rd down play, wasn't it?
2nd and 10.
2nd and 10, big play anyway, and picks up a 1st down. Pat comes out, runs, keeps on the option. He makes 7 or 8 yards. This is a
3rd and 6 coming right here. Great play.
A fine play to Freddie Wiggin. Tommy running inside again, just 5 and 6 yarding them right on down the field. This is a drive that's out of desperation or whatever you want to call it. We get down there and we end up with 3rd and long, and Pat just throws it right on the money, and Trey comes up with it, and we go ahead 17-10.
17-play drive.
But they're not through, though. Keeping the ball 17 plays is outstanding against a defense like Ole Miss. So they come back and hit the tight end for about 15 yards. Draw play. It's
3rd and 1.
Gerald Williams and Greg Carr. This is a great play right there. That was the play I was talking about. Harold Hallman was the first one that got there. Greg Carr and Gerald Williams and David King was in there. Now this is we got the ball backed up, and we really need to get this ball off a goal line here. We call a bootleg play right here, and I thought yesterday that Pat could have made the 1st down if he would have run the football. Didn't think he could have. I think he got a kind of a questionable call right there because he did have a tight end over there in the vicinity, and the guy got hit just as he was throwing the ball. They do a good job of getting back on a fumble here. We just didn't. The ball didn't bounce our way yesterday one time, and they left it on the ground about 6 times. Gerald Robinson and Arthur Johnson do a great job of covering the screen pass there.
They're at the 17 now.
David King does this great play right there. Now, that guy's complaining, but David, I looked at it on a different angle yesterday, and right there, Bobby Wallace sent Nate Caesar in the ball game. We had the blitz call, and Bobby said Nate covered a tight end close because they're going to go to him on the hot route. Nate was right where he was supposed to be and broke it up, and we get the ball back after a field goal, and it's 17-13. Now this is a desperation drive right here to keep them from getting the football again.
7.5 minutes to go when this drive started.
Well, Phil, I think the deciding factor in the ball game is a great play right here on 3rd down. Pat threw it down low and outside, and Freddie got down there and caught it. Outstanding run here by Tommy Agee, and we are taking the football and moving it. Collis Campbell, sweep, 1st down. We're getting it down closer and closer now. Brent Fullwood, I guess down to the 4-yard line.
They have one timeout, but they decide he decides not to use it if you don't let him get in without a score.
Right. They call timeout, and we may do something different there, but as the way it turned out, we could win the football game and run the clock out.
You just want to win,
Well, you're exactly right. I know some of our fans may be upset with us about not trying to score there, but I've seen some curious things happen, and it wasn't any use in taking any chances. You can pitch your ball back in, somebody hit the ball, knock it up in the air, and somebody go 95 yards with a touchdown, whatever, and the game was won, and I was happy to have it.
We'll be back in just a minute. Auburn's been on the road all year. They got to go to Tallahassee now against the number 8, 7,
absolutely no rest for the weary, for sure. I think we'll have to play the best game we played all year long to have a chance to win, Phil. I don't know what happened in Memphis last night, but I know they tied Memphis State 17-17, but it was raining hard when we left Memphis yesterday, and it could have been a weather factor. And, you know, when it is raining and the weather's bad, that's a great equalizer. But I know that Florida State, some of our coaches that broke down their film last week said they had the best offensive football team they'd seen in 5 years. So it'll be a tremendous challenge for us. I know that they've got more ability to skill positions. Running backs, the offensive line was very physical last year. Mickey Andrews is
an old Alabama guy.
Right. I've been knowing Mickey a long time, and came in as coordinating the defense, and their people are playing much better defensively, and I'm sure that they've probably got better people. They were an awful young football team last year when we played them, and so it'll be a great challenge for us, and I've got all the respect in the world for Coach Bowden, and he's hired an old friend of mine, Art Baker, to change up our offense a little bit, and I hope we're ready to play, and if we play the best we can play, it'll be a great football game.
Okay, and we'll see you next week.
The Auburn Football Review with Coach Pat Dye has been brought to you by Colonial Bank, Louder Realty, Better Homes and Gardens, Federated Guarantee Life, Pepsi and your local Pepsi bottler, Long's Electronics, and Snapper.
I'm just so the brightest moments in Tiger history as they defeat the Padres.
Hey, the Reverend Baggett said it today. Let's love one another.
Yeah. Amen.
And let's take it, men. Hey, just go for it.
All right.
I'm mighty proud of you. Enjoy this, and this is one you'll remember a lifetime. You can put this one back and tell your grandchildren about it when you're old man in gray. But don't ever doubt the things that we've talked and preached all year long will win.
This is it. It ain't going nowhere but up from here.
I'm going to go back out there and thank our people.
The Auburn Football Review with Coach Pat Dye. Brought to you by Colonial Bank, Louder Realty, Better Homes and Gardens, Federated Guarantee Life, Pepsi and your local Pepsi bottler, Long's Electronics, and Snapper.
Welcome to the Auburn Football Review. 60,000 fortunate folks saw the football game of their lives last night in Tallahassee. Auburn 42, Florida State 41. That was the score, wasn't it?
Well, I looked up at the clock, and it was, 36-41, yeah. And I'm sitting there thinking, all right, we score, we got to go for two, because if the touchdown's going to put us one ahead, if 2 points will make us 3 ahead, and they'll have to kick a field goal to tie us. And You know, that's the way the game was all night long. You're trying to decide whether you're going for one or going for two or going for the field goal or whatever, but it was an all-time great football game.
Most remarkable one I've ever seen.
I've never been in one like it as a head football coach, and never played in one like that because of the momentum and really, I don't know that anybody ever had the momentum because it swapped back and forth. We couldn't stop either. They couldn't stop us, and we couldn't stop them, and there was a lot of big plays on the kicking game and so many long plays in the ball game. And Florida State, you got to give them credit. Coach Baden and his staff had I think, an excellent game plan both ways, and I think we did. They just executed, and they hurt us in the passing game and running game, and we hurt them with the passing game and the running game, and they got a big play off a kicking game. We got a touchdown off a kicking game. I think it just, it boiled down to, we had the ball last, and I don't think I've ever been into a game in my life where I felt like the cards were stacked against us as much as they were last night because of the environment in Tallahassee. And when we got in there, the news media, you could read the papers, and it looked like it was written by Coach Bowden, getting the folks psyched up and the players psyched up.
And they were, the crowd
and of course, they've got to be proud of the tradition in Tallahassee because it was a hostile crowd last night and very exciting place to play a football game on. I think our players thoroughly enjoyed it. We were looking forward to going down there to play the game, and we needed that football game. We needed to win it, of course, but we needed to get in that kind of atmosphere and play and find out, just see what we're made out of. And I like what I saw last night. I think that we couldn't have won that football game without total oneness on our football team. The defense got the ball back at the end for the offense to have an opportunity to score. And, of course, the offense rose to the occasion. And there's just so many individuals that stood out in the game last night, and we'll talk about them as the game goes on.
Okay, and let's get the birthday guys now. Brent Fullwood, Pat Washington, and Arthur Johnson in the crazy post-game dressing room.
You'll get dressed and let's go to...
Wait, it's my birthday.
Come on, I said we'll come out.
This one for you, Bear.
Come out.
Happy birthday. Hey, Arthur. Pat Washington. I love it.
Hey, I want you to know when this was 4th and 3. Patrick called his own number out there tonight.
Get up there, Pat. Get up there so we can sing it to you, boy.
Just sing.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday,
How old are you this week?
21.
That's a nice birthday. No turnovers, huh?
It is.
Is that the best birthday present you can think of?
It's next to the best. I can't tell you the other one.
Okay.
Well, they hit it and they rode and it popped straight up to me. I just took off.
You said you just return it all the way and then ask if it was okay.
Right, that's better safe than sorry. You know,
Were you surprised when I gave you a touchdown?
I wanted it. I promise you that. But it was so funny. Me and my wife in our quiet time, she prayed that I would somehow make a big play this weekend. I can't wait to get home to
answer the prayer. I wanted
and big answer, and it shows you the power of prayer right there and what the Lord can do. And it's unbelievable. I just running down the field all alone. I hadn't done that since high school, you know.
Record crowd. I bet you a record noise too.
It had to be. It was a beautiful night for football. It was warm, but it wasn't hot. But it got hot before the night was over. They gave us good field position in the kickoffs all night long. I guess they was afraid to kick it to Brent. But we start out right here. Pat Washington runs a bootleg for about 15 yards.
That's going to be a good play for Auburn.
And come back the next play, and the greatest catch I've ever seen in my life right here, where Pat actually juggles the ball, picks it up, and hits Freddie Wagan. And Freddie, how he got around underneath that guy and kept his eye on the football and got both hands on it, I'll never know. But the ball, he catches the ball about the 3-yard line, I guess, and we take this one in to score. Pat heard us throw there a little bit and had Jeff wide open in the end zone.
Well, watch the blocks here.
And Brent takes it in. That's 4th and 1. And we get the go-ahead touchdown right there, 7-0. I told Jeff Park's girlfriend Friday, I believe, that we were going to throw him a touchdown pass, but we just didn't. It didn't work out. But anyway, Florida State comes right back, and you're going to see them. They've got a lot of talented athletes, the best skilled people that I've ever seen on one team in my life.
Jones and Hester, remarkable wide.
Well, that's a more remarkable player right there, Allen, and of course that quarterback, Eric Thomas, did a great job last night. And they move this one down, and we stop them, and they kick a field goal. And I feel like we're doing pretty good when we hold them to a field goal.
Okay.
We come back, and they on offense again, and there's a fine play right there by Victor Beasley. Actually knocked the ball loose from Thomas, and come back. Great play right here. Arthur Johnson, Gerald Williams, and Harold Hallman, and you can see the ball come squirting out of there, and Jim Bone comes up with a turnover. And Phil, you know, we did not have a turnover last night.
That's right. We got on a couple to save.
We take this one down and get a field goal. Hollis Campbell, you're going to see CC make a big run later on. Offensive line coming off of football extremely well right there. And Florida State came out with a different alignment than we were expecting, and gave us some problems with it early as far as our running game is concerned. But we took advantage of some of the things that they were doing as the night went along.
Late in the first quarter now.
They come back, and they just did a great job of throwing the football backside, front side, post routes off of play-action passes. And
same drive, second quarter.
Great. Our defense comes back here. We'd actually take them out of field goal range here with 2 sacks out, one by Kevin Green and Ben Thomas and Gerald Williams, Harold Hallman. Greg Carr makes a big play on the sack right there on the blitz, and again, we've got them back out of field position. They punt down the ball, and we don't get the ball off the goal line right here, and Disaster strikes.
3rd and 3 here. Here's a good run by Brent Fullwood, who really ran tough.
He ran good, and of course you can see that Florida State is, you know, they're playing hard too. I guess this is the 5th or 6th punt that Florida State has blocked this year, and that's one thing that we worked extremely hard on during the course of the week, is to prevent that from happening. But good execution on their part, poor on our part. They get one blocker. As Gerald Williams and Harold Hallman again stopping that fullback inside. Again, the option pass coming down the line. Eric Thomas hits the tight end in the end zone for the touchdown, and it's 10-10.
But not for long.
I was very, very proud of our entire football team last night. You take with Eddie Graham right here that's running this kickoff back. Eddie didn't practice the day last week with a pull going, and comes up with a big play on the kickoff here. We got Hollis Campbell, great block by Tim Jesse. Good block right there by Trey Gaines. Got folks down there in front of him trying to win on every down. Tommy Agee and I don't know who the other guy was down there. Maybe Ron Middleton or Stacy Searles. There's Randy Stokes out there blocking for him.
He stayed in bounds too, but only by about an inch.
Ron Middleton's been playing extremely well for us. Jeff Park starts at tight end, but Ron's been playing so well. He was one of our captains for the ball game. And was Pat. We knew with it, for our offense to be complete, that we had to get the ball pitched on the corners more than we've been getting it pitched, and we worked extremely hard on it last week, Coach Casey and Coach Crow. And here they throw it back across the field, and it's a forward pass, and it's really a big play for us because it backs them up, and we hold them and get the ball in good field position again. There's Matt Caesar making the play, knocking him out of bounds.
They start at the 4, and they're out at the 8-yard line on 2nd down on this play.
As Harold Hallman. I don't know if anybody in the conference is playing better at nose guard right now than Harold Hallman. He's just making big play after big play.
3rd down.
As 2 linebackers, Greg Carr and Ben McCurdy, and Gerald Williams coming back in on the play.
They have to punt. This is a 3rd and 5 play right here.
As Pat throwing to Freddie. Little stop route. That guy right there is
3rd and 15 here.
This is a great throw and catch on the part of Pat Washington and Trey Gaines. Puts the ball at the 10-yard line.
They get a penalty.
He pitches to Brent. There's Tim Jesse out front blocking, and Brent takes it in for the touchdown. There's a good block right there by Tommy Agee. we start getting the execution on the corner like that, then we're going to be a much better offensive football team than we were last night because of it.
Brent scored 3 times on the night, but they come right back quickly, too. Mercy, they can score.
Throwing out to Hester, David King, and Arthur Johnson. This is just a busted assignment here. We took the play fake and let the guy run free, and again, we knew that they had that speed and were deep threat all the time, and we just broke down in our coverage. And you know, it's not something that you want to do, but it's something that I hope we can learn. Here's a reverse, and they do a great job with the reverses, and that's a little Darren Holloman for them. And Alvin Briggs makes the tackle.
Late in the second quarter, just before the half, and they're going to score.
They get a penalty right here for offensive lineman downfield. The ball was actually thrown across the line of scrimmage, and great play right here by Gerald Robinson. Gerald actually caught that ball right there, and we come back and get one play off and take it down and go out. What was the score?
22-17 at the half.
22-17 at the half.
We'll be back in just a minute. University feature today is on the new School of Forestry at Auburn University. I'd like to remind you folks in the West Central Alabama area that the Auburn JVs meet Marion Institute in Marion Friday night at 8 o'clock. It's their big homecoming weekend, and the junior varsity of Auburn needs to avenge a loss there, Coach. Here we go.
Marion's playing pretty well.
That's right. Here we go into the second half now.
Well, you know, Phil, I think Florida State made a mistake with that decision at the opening kickoff because we won the toss and we deferred our decision until the half, and they chose to give us the ball the first half, and we ended up getting 2 touchdowns out of it. There's a ball on the ground, which we don't like to see, but we certainly like to see it pop up in our guy's hands where he can go ahead and score with it. I think a good Lord smiled on us last night, Phil. It was something special about it. It looked like it, you know, we were out of it, that you know, sometimes the good Lord has a way of not putting any more on you than you can.
That's what he says.
Carry.
That's what he said.
We were taken to the limit last night for sure, and it was, like I said, you know, I know that our defense got a lot of points and a lot of yards against it, but, you know, I can't, they've won some football games for us this year when the offense was struggling, and it's a team game, and there's a Greg Allen there.
That was a great run. He broke a couple of tackles.
Great play. Great player. There's a key play right there, and you can't see it on film, but I think Arthur Johnson got a 5-yard face mask penalty there. Here's a reverse. There's the clip. It was not called, and that's what I got so upset about, Phil. And I said something to one of the officials, and he said he saw it, but it wasn't his call to make.
Oh.
And that really upset me. So that makes it, what, 29-24. And they come right back, and that guy right there is a great football player. Somebody going to make a great pro player.
This was Auburn's worst time in the third quarter. You all were not moving the ball, and they were.
Right. They came out with a hot hand. And
that's their first lead of the game.
That's right, and they come right back and make a 2-point play, and it's a 3-point ball game. Isn't that correct?
32-29.
We're struggling a little bit here, but we hadn't given up. They're still scratching and biting, and we're going to get it done. And right here, Freddie Wagan makes another spectacular catch, and the guy tried to tackle him and keep him from catching it. There's Pat on the bootleg, and he's going to score right here. And that was an outstanding play. But this play is called back. I don't know. That was a close call right there, Phil. The guy turned his back. He's running, and I don't know how that's a judgment call. And of course, it went against us, and they come right back here and move the football and take it down and kick another field goal, I guess, don't they?
4th and 3 right here, and they move a lot of folks.
If that's not the intentional movement to draw you off sides, and the guy,
big play, they get a first down.
But anyway, they go down and get a field goal, and there's a fine play by Ben Thomas, and
we're in the 4th quarter now. They have to kick the field goal, and that gives them a 6-point lead.
and I still feel good. I don't know how much time's left in the game, about 7 minutes or something like that. But they come back and stop us here now. And is this our touchdown drive?
No, this is the come from behind the first time. This is early in the fourth quarter.
Okay.
Second and 10 coming up.
I guess we do it twice, don't we?
Right.
All right, that's Pat Runner pitching to Kyle Collins, and of course Pat had to have his finest night last night. And I
what
don't
a
know
night!
How many yards he rushed for? He threw for 100.
Watch Tim Jesse here.
All of our backs ran hard, and our offensive line, you can see them coming off the football. And
3rd and 5 right here. Great play.
Good block right there. I don't know who the lead blocker was, but as Kyle Collins and getting it in the end zone for the touchdown.
Come from behind, number 1. Here they come, though. We're midway of the fourth quarter. 10:42 to go in the game.
As Snipe played extremely well against us last year, played good against us again last night. There's Gerald Robinson with some pressure and come back across the middle, and we were hitting the guy, and he reaches out there. They're great receivers.
3rd and 5.
Yeah, we had the blitz coming, and they hit us with the draw and broke him clean. That Caesar saved a touchdown. I tell you, we was having a hard time. You know, I like to be fish or foul. That was awful close right there, Phil. Did he get his foot down?
I don't know.
There's a big play right there. That might have been the biggest play of the ball game, because if they score 2 points there, then we got to, you know, we've got to make two to win.
They are ahead now, 41-36. They have a.
This is a 4th down play right here, and we called timeout, and Pat came over to the sideline. We were talking about what we wanted to call, and Pat actually called that play himself. He said, let me run it on the bootleg. There's a great play right here by Freddie Wayne. Breaks a tackle, and how long was that play, Phil? 25 yards?
35 yards.
35 yards. Pat comes right back and hits Jeff Parks for another 15 yards. Pitches to Brent Fullwood here, and Brent's going to take it to the corner for about 9. I wanted to run the clock out. I didn't want to get in there quite this quick.
But you
take the first down, yeah, and Brent takes it in for the touchdown. And
48 seconds to go. They have 1 timeout.
It's wild. I'm telling you, it's wild. And they do a great job on the kickoff. We run it back out to about the 30-yard line and lightning strikes. The big guy walked late, and there's Gerald Robinson and Harold Hallman.
Here he comes again.
Gerald's coming again. Watch him. Look out. And throw it up. And they come back and throw the... They can't stop the clock now. They've used their last timeout, and I want to tell you something. You think conserving timeouts is not important in a football game, then, you know, they could have used an extra one at the end.
We'll be back in just a minute. Like a win like that just does all kinds of things for a team.
Well, Phil, I'm so proud of our seniors and the leadership that we've gotten in the last 5 or 6 weeks in practice and preparation, and we've been pushing and pushing and pushing, and they've done a great job of just, you know, the team coming together, and our fans have been tremendous on the road to Oxford, Mississippi, and again last night, and our coaching staff has done a great job. Our defensive staff, Frank Orgel and Wayne Hall and Bobby Wallace and Joe Whitt, and offensive coaches Wayne Bolt and Jack Crow and Bud Casey and Larry Blakeney, coaches Freddie Waygan and Neil Calloway and James Daniels, our scout teamers that nobody hears anything about, and all the graduate assistant coaches. We've all been working together, and a game like that one last night makes it all worthwhile, and we don't have a great football team right now, but we got a chance to be very, very good.
Okay, and we have Georgia Tech next week, and we'll have it here for you on Sunday. Thank you.
The Auburn Football Review with Coach Pat Dye has been brought to you by Colonial Bank, Louder Realty, Better Homes and Gardens, Federated Guarantee Life, Pepsi and your local Pepsi bottler, Long's Electronics, and Snapper.
by quarterback Danny Bradley and
the first half was out of this world. All I can say is I did a heck of a job at halftime with my speech to you. But you know, I think probably it's, you know, it may be good for us to see the difference between being intense and doing things right, making things happen on defense, and the same way offensively. Just it don't, you know, football is such a game where inches mean so much, but that inch may be in desire. It's not necessarily on the field in yards and feet out there to make first downs. It may be down inside your heart. What you want, how bad did you want to keep Georgia Tech out the end zone the second half? But don't ever doubt the things that we've talked and preached all year long will win.
This is it. It ain't going nowhere but up from here.
I'm going to go back out there and thank our people.
The Auburn Football Review with Coach Pat Dye. Brought to you by Colonial Bank, Louder Realty, Better Homes and Gardens, Federated Guarantee Life, Pepsi and your local Pepsi bottler, Long's Electronics, and Snapper.
Welcome to the Auburn Football Review. Yesterday, Jordan-Hare Stadium, 75,000, Auburn 48, Georgia Tech 34. It ain't never over till it's over, is it, Coach? That's the wildest thing I have ever seen.
Well, until last year when we played Georgia Tech in Atlanta, I think the players remember what they would consider maybe a famous halftime talk.
Yeah.
I will remember the one yesterday a lot more.
You're going to file that one away somewhere way away.
I've never seen a football team play a better half of football that I've ever been around, and then come back out the second half and play as poorly as we did the second half. And it wasn't just on defense either; it was offensively too. We didn't do the things we had to do offensively. We didn't control the football any, and we didn't, you know, we get a long touchdown pass. But outside of that, there's both sides of the football. It just showed up worse on defense because they scored all those points. But it was a great day for our football team and our football program because we won the football game, and we got some youngsters in the game that played well that hadn't played before, and I'm just so proud of Mike Mann and Jeff Berger, two quarterbacks that came out and played yesterday, and of course Ed Sperling got in the ball game late. And you know, a lot of the players got to handle the football more than Tim Jessup scored a touchdown, and of course Freddie Wagan caught a touchdown pass that he hadn't done, and he's meant so much to our football team this year. Defensively, we played as good a football game the first half as I've ever been around. I think they had 35 yards, and 12 of that came on the last play of the first half.
2 first downs.
Kevin, we had made some things happen, forced turnovers, good contact, rushed passes, sacked the quarterback, intercepted passes. Kevin Porter had an interception, and our defense just dominated the football game in the first half and gave our offense excellent field position, and it was just a tremendous half of football. And we'll see it on the playback today that you just couldn't be any better than we were in the first half. And then, of course, you know, and I don't know, I don't have all answers for sure, but whatever we did the second half was wrong.
Okay, we'll be back. Let's go now and talk to some of the players and faces you don't see often on this show.
We've had to come over some adversity this year. You know, we lost Bo Jackson earlier in the season. Then we lost Steve Wallace, you know, our big left tackle, last week. And now, you know, Pat comes up with a hamstring injury. So you figure you lose one of your best running backs, and your starting left tackle, and then you lose your starting quarterback. The team's either got to come together or either it's going to fold. And we came together today. I think it's a very exciting feeling for me.
And then they come back and they run the corner route, and Clayton was coming in. He said, "I'll be there, throw it," and I threw it, and he was there.
I told Jeff to just put it out there anyway, and I was gonna try to run a good route. And I knew if I could get the defender off just a little bit, and the ball was out there, I could go get it. And that's exactly what happened. He put it out there,
Nice to know you got 3 quarterbacks you can count on, right?
Yeah.
At the first of the year when people was talking about who was going to be the quarterback, they just, I think a lot of people on the team said that, we could play either one and, and win with them because they're all just great quarterbacks. And that showed that today. We could play any quarterback and win with them. They all have great arms and, great ability.
Coach Bodad told me that Coach Dow was real impressed with my catching in the last couple of weeks of practice. And he said my time was coming, and it did. So
makes you feel good, huh?
It feels real good, real good.
When we found out Bo wasn't going to be here, we all pulled together. With Pat, it doesn't matter who's in there as long as we're doing what we're supposed to do and winning.
Well, came from the offensive line. They just made a hole big enough a transport truck could drive through it. And I just ran.
And just hate to say it, but it was just a couple of them I just had to run over, just to get in the end zone. When I use my power to run over and get in the end zone. So,
is this going to be a habit, scoring every week? It's kind of nice, isn't it?
I would like for it to be a habit,
You hadn't scored since Mississippi State 2 years ago. Did it feel good?
It felt pretty good.
Now you got to go to Mississippi State next week.
Yeah, hope to get another one there, too.
First interception.
Great.
Feel good?
Feels great.
You just stepped in front of the guy.
Yeah, he kind of threw it behind him. And, it just hit me in the chest. I should have run a touchdown. Fell to my knee.
Well, we were just so far ahead coming out. We just had a mental letdown in the second half, and I guess you could expect that after we had done so well in the first half. But I feel like we learned something from this win.
We were just going to stay with our plan that we used the first half, which we did. And they came out the second half, and they were fired up. We were fired up, but we weren't really the way we were in the first half, and they just executed.
75,002 at Jordan-Hare, largest crowd ever to see one of 87 of these Auburn Georgia Tech games.
Phil, I think the players kind of summed up the game. As you can see right off, Tommy Powell just right down the center. Oh, that hurt.
Boy, doesn't that set you off?
Well, I tell you, we had some great hits on the kickoff yesterday. Ben Thomas comes right back on a trap play, and Gerald Robinson, and you're going to see a great half of defensive football here now. And this is the way I'd like for us to play all the time. As Kevin Green coming in and getting a sack on the quarterback, I don't know how many times we sacked the quarterback the first half. And one thing I might mention, as Mike Mann throwing to Clayton Buford, and Mike, I'm so proud of him. I don't know what to do. He just, he's been loyal and faithful and had a great attitude through all this quarterback controversy. As he's just throwing and catching, and
he was a cool customer, wasn't he?
Absolutely. And that was just a base handoff. Offensive line came off the ball, and just as Jeff Lott just turning that guy backwards, and Tommy hit that little old crease. It was, Georgia Tech had a little stun on, and the guy, we hit him at the right place at the right time, and Tommy took it in. It was a game. There's a near interception right there by Tommy Powell, and good pressure on the quarterback. And here again, here's Gerald Robinson coming back for another sack. And we had a lot of individuals that did some great things. This little draw play. This was actually the first and 15 play. I remember Kyle Collins picked up about 8 yards. Mike comes back, and good block out there on the corner by Kyle Collins, and we hit the corner and pick up about 15 yards there.
First down, 3rd and 7 here now.
We don't get this one in. We should get it in, but we have a penalty we had more for offsides penalties yesterday. I don't know whether it's alignment or moving or what, but anyway, we get stopped and kick the field goal, make it 10-0.
46-yarder there.
First quarter. Robert McGinney kicked the ball real well yesterday. That's my little nephew, David Snell. The first half of football was, I've never seen a game that turned around like that one. That's Kevin Porter making his interception. Kevin's a freshman from Warner Robins, Georgia, and is already a winning football player and going to be a great one.
The fourth down play.
Fourth down play, big play out about the 30-yard line, and we come back on the next play with a bootleg, and Mike Mann keeps it down to, I don't know, around the 5 or 10-yard line, 5-yard line, I guess. And we don't get this one in. We get it close, but we don't get it in.
Look how he looks them off and then throws that ball.
Kyle Collins was right down to the 1-foot line. If I'd have known the ball was that close to the goal line, we wouldn't have run this play right here. I thought we were a couple yards out, and we could have run some kind of base handoff and got it in there, I think. But
the defense holds them down here.
Right. The defense comes out, and there's Alex Duchok and Ben Thomas and John Daly. And
this is a third down play. He's just short of the first down.
There's Ben Thomas making the play on that one, and Harold Hallman, and there's Pat Arrington and Brian Delaney, two of our former players from last year. They're dressed up in their coat and ties. And
in the second quarter now, this is a wild one. 5 scores.
Mike comes back and hits Jeff Parks on that little seam route and gets him open. Here we come back, and he hits Mike again. Mike hits Jeff again on about a 6 or 7 yard play. Here we catch him in a blitz and run the counter dive, and Tim Jesse goes in from about, 17 yards out?
Yeah, 21 yards.
21 yards out, and that tickles me to death. Tim's playing with a broken finger that's got pins in it, and he's come back and he's picked up our practices, and he's always has a great contact play by David King, and you can see again that we're after him, and Tommy Powell and fumble, the ball's on the ground, and Gerald Williams comes up with it, and we're getting the ball in great field position. Anytime you score that many points in one half, it's because of turnovers, and there's Mike throwing to Ron Middleton, and Ron is scratching, and he has gotten so much better catching the football that it's not even close to where he used to be. He's become a complete football player now. He's always been an outstanding blocker. There's a great run by Collis Campbell. Runs over 2, just keeps on running.
Watch it again. Boy, he just runs over this guy.
That is I'm going to say a typical Collis Campbell run right there. He's just, you talking about a fine young man and a great team player and a great practice player, and one that all the players love, and not a selfish bone in his body.
Williams and Carr there.
There's a
3rd and 4.
Coming in pressure, and as Edward Phillips gets there and sacks him, and we play in 3 ends on that side, Edward Phillips and Kevin Green, and Mike comes back and throws to Freddie again.
It's the 1st and 15 play here.
Good block by Tim Jesse there, and Brent picks up 16, 17 yards on it.
Watch out.
This is Coach Crow's call here. I wonder where those guys are that put those signs in Coach Crow's yard.
42 and 48 points in 2 weeks is pretty good.
You know, he can't. I don't. It's kind of against my grain to throw the ball on 2nd and 4 or 5. And he said, Coach, this is the only time we can get them in that coverage. We want to get them in one-on-one back there. So, but anyway, coming back now on offense again. Jeff Berger at quarterback. He hits Ron Middleton, comes back and hits Clayton Buford. Takes it right down the field, and Jeff looks like he's been playing all year long. Has been practicing all year long. As Collis Campbell, I really think Collis fumbled that ball here, and we got a touchdown. But
Jeff light on it in the end zone, but
we left the ball on the ground a little too much. But we came up with all the fumbles in the first half. We didn't come up with all of them in the second half. You're going to fumble the ball some, but the important thing is to get them back. It is 34-0, and right now I'm trying to figure out what in the world. There's a sack and on the quarterback by Gerald Robinson. There's a hit and a caused fumble by Ben Thomas, and Rodney Garner, freshman from Leeds, Alabama, comes up with it. Here's a bootleg for the touchdown. Again, we have a little split in out there that's, I don't know whether he's lined up off sides or lined up in the backfield or moving or what, but anyway, that one's called back. Come right back and throw the corner route to Clayton for the touchdown. And that is putting the ball on the money. And I'm so happy for Clayton. Clayton is just, in the last 2 or 3 weeks, has worked so hard in practice and gotten better, and just glad to see him get the opportunity to catch some balls.
We'll be back in just a minute. Become a tradition of this program to retell the story of the first Rec Tech Pajama Parade, and then on the end of this you will see some of the scenes of the Pajama Parade last Thursday, 1984.
The first football game played on the Auburn campus in 1896 was a long-anticipated event. The opponent was Georgia Tech. In those days, people and football teams traveled by train. With that in mind, a group of Auburn students slipped silently from a boarding house and assembled near the Auburn Depot in the pre-dawn hours of game day. Most were wearing only their pajamas as quietly buckets of lard were distributed to the group. Spacing themselves along the western of Alabama tracks, they proceeded to lubricate the rails in the direction of Opelika and Atlanta. Later that morning, as the lard glistened on the sun-warmed rails, the rambling wreck from Georgia Tech began to break for the Auburn station. And slid right through town. Some say halfway to Lochapoka. That Georgia Tech football team had to walk back to Auburn. And to this day, Auburn students march in their pajamas just before the Georgia Tech football game.
This is too rich a series. We just can't let it end, you know?
Well, I hope not, but, I really don't have any control over it. We went out to the pep rally Thursday afternoon and after practice and stood about, I don't know, we had 7,000 to 8,000 students there, and it was, everybody had lots of fun, and it's a great event for our student body and our campus. I told the students that if we lose the Georgia Tech game, then we're going to have to pick up somebody else to have a pajama parade about it. I don't know, Florida or somebody.
Great Auburn band. Wanda was at the game.
Wanda was at the game, and she's getting around fine.
She's had hip surgery and is recovering nicely, right? That's the baby daughter, let me point out.
She's still going to be for a while before she goes back to school. We come back second half and move the ball right down the field to the 4-yard line and then have a pass intercepted. Field, something very unusual about this ball game. Georgia Tech had outscored their opponents 85 to 16 in the first half.
Isn't that remarkable?
And we had very concerned about being able to, going to Trey Gaines. Mike just took them right down the field, and we come here and they do a great job of playing that particular play and intercept the ball in the end zone, and it doesn't take him long to get it in the end zone. We go from riches to rags this second half. But anyway, our coaching staff, I thought, did a great job with playing offensively and defensively, and I think had Georgia Tech a little bit confused both ways. In the early going, they take it right on down the field and get Levette scores from about the 2-yard line.
A team that usually confuses its opponent in the first
Well,
half.
that's the thing that had us afraid that, that we would come out and with all the different formations and defensive alignments and everything. I tell you, that little quarterback, you look at this film, he had a great second half, too.
Sure did.
Newberry, and throwing to Lee on the touchdown pass. Coming back, I thought our defense did a good job on Levette, that great tailback again. You can see he's getting a little pressure there, and when you get a little pressure to him, good things will happen to you, and there he's throwing, and Nate Caesar comes up with the interception. We don't move it again, and that's the thing about the second half is that we did not control the football any offensively. We didn't make first downs and take long drives and that sort of thing, and they take it right on down and score.
It's 41-21 now. Our score is wrong. 41-21.
We come back on offense, and we're gonna make something happen right here, though. And I tell you, this is a big play in the football game because they get right back in it. There's Mike hitting Freddie Wagan, and that was a great throw right there on Mike's part. He had a guy blitzing right in his face when he released the ball, and you got to have courage to stand in there and be able to do that.
It was a great throw. They make some great catches in
That's
this
a great catch on, I guess that guy's name is Darrell Wise from Georgia Tech, and here's a fine execution and play on the part of Georgia Tech, their quarterback and a tight end Wilkins, and he takes it in from 45 yards out, and not very good coverage on the part of Auburn. We are now, I guess, what is it, 28 to
48?
And Mike comes outside on a bootleg, and we're trying to just run the clock now and get the game over with.
4th and 2 at the 33 of Tech here.
Right. Well, it wasn't any use to try to kick a field goal. I didn't feel like from there, and we wanted to make a first down and keep the ball away from Georgia Tech, and of course we don't execute on as a nice throw and catch again by Georgia Tech. It's all Georgia Tech the second half for sure, and they come back with a quarterback draw, and Dewberry takes it in from the 6-7 yard line, and it's 48 to 34. They go for 2, and Alvin Briggs makes a nice play and breaks it up.
They get the ball one more time with about 10 seconds
well, we
to go.
turn it over with about 15 seconds left to go, and David King comes up with his first interception of the year. And David has played well, but he hasn't had many balls thrown to his side, and it's just good to see him get an interception anyway.
48-34 the final, back in just 1 minute. Ooh. Well, the conference run begins next week on the road for 2 weeks.
I'd like to mention our offensive line. Feel they've worked as hard as any group of individuals on our football team, and they had to play well yesterday. Mike had lots of time to throw the football, but the offensive tackles, Rob Shula and Eric Floyd and Stacy Searles, Jeff Lott and Randy Stokes and Buford Perkins and Steve Wilson at offensive guard, 2 centers, Yan Cowett and Ben Tamarella. They are getting to be a close-knit group, and they are playing extremely well for us right now. And Coach Daniels and Coach Callaway have done an outstanding job with them. We get back in the conference race, go to Starkville, Mississippi. I know that Mississippi State has had a powerful offensive football team, and I think if they play us the way they've always played us, they'll be a powerful defensive football team. But the big thing is the conference game is just as big as any one we've played all year long. We've got to go back and see if we can establish our first half tempo this week in practice and hold that for 60 minutes against Mississippi State.
Sorry to say, no TV. We'll have the replay for you on Sunday. Thank you. Good afternoon.
The Auburn Football Review with Coach Pat Dye has been brought to you by Colonial Bank, Louder Realty, Better Homes and Gardens, Federated Guarantee Life, Pepsi and your local Pepsi bottler, Long's Electronics, and Snapper.
Budweiser.
got a big task in front of us next week. Florida had the weekend off. They're going to be fresh. They're a great football team. We still got a lot of people wounded and hurt. I want you to start right now getting ready for Florida. You don't have enough time otherwise. It's a great, great win for you, man. You'll never know. You'll never know. And you remember me telling you yesterday that some of the hardest fought battles are not in the biggest arenas? You'll remember this one a long time, man. But don't ever doubt the things that we've talked and preached all year long will win.
This is it. It ain't going nowhere but up from here.
I'm going to go back out there and thank our people.
The Auburn Football Review with Coach Pat Dye. Brought to you by Colonial Bank, Louder Realty, Better Homes and Gardens, Federated Guarantee Life, Pepsi and your local Pepsi bottler, Long's Electronics, and Snapper.
Welcome to the Auburn Football Review. Yesterday, Starkville, Mississippi, the Tigers had to score 17 unanswered points to beat Mississippi State by a field goal on the last play of the game. Pat, this has been a remarkable 3 weeks of football. Have you stopped to think? It's been
it's certainly taken its toll on us, that's for sure. And yesterday was, the score in the game doesn't surprise me. You know, it surprised me to get behind 14-0 and then 21-7. I didn't think they'd get that far ahead of us, but winning the football game 24-21 was, I been tickled to death with that, knowing the circumstances that we were going into the game with the injured people that we have. And Starkville is not the easiest place in the world to play. We'd had 2 emotional games. Our season has been such that we haven't had an easy football game.
That's right.
And we got into that thing yesterday, and Phil, I don't know how good a football team we've got to start with. I mean, I think that if we are hitting on all cylinders, I think that we're pretty good. But I know that we're not good enough to go out and not play intense and be emotionally on a high when the game starts. We can't, and I don't think anybody around the country is. That's the reason you see upsets every day. But the great teams, the championship teams, get themselves ready to play every week. And, we've been able to, since the Texas game, and of course I thought we played well enough against Texas to win. We just beat ourselves out there. But this football team has managed to do what's necessary to win. They've displayed a lot of character and a lot of poise and confidence in the things that you have to win. I'm just looking forward to the day that we go out and play 4 complete quarters and we get the maximum out of all of us ability and talent and execute the way that we have at times, offensively and defensively, and with the kicking game, then I think we got a chance to be a championship caliber football team.
Next week would be a good time. Let's go in the Auburn dressing room now and meet some of those young guys who played so well in the second half. This was kind of a lifetime for you today, wasn't it?
It's a real good feeling. I'm glad the team won, so we can stay undefeated in SEC is an important thing.
You really had 2 tough ones to make. You got to make the point to tie. That wasn't easy. Then you got to make the one to win. What were you thinking?
Just concentrating on making it was all, After I missed the first one in the early part of the game, I knew I had to concentrate hard on the rest of the kicks.
You dream about this day winning?
Try not to think about it, but I'm glad it came along.
Robert is a good kicker. He's been kicking good all year long, and when they started letting the clock run, I didn't know what was going on. And
you thought they were going to run out?
You ain't joking, but I believe we could have went back out and hold them again because our defense had got fired up.
Coach Dye came in here and at halftime and gave us one of the traditional pep talks, and he kind of
jumped us a little bit, but it was good for us. We came back out in the second half, and the defense buckled up, didn't let them have any points, and the offense kicked it in.
Well, you know, Coach Dodd's been in the business a whole lot longer than I have, and he's been in a lot more games. I wanted to go for 2 personally, but I knew whatever he decided to do, you know, was the best thing, and the way it turned out, it was fabulous.
Anybody that blocked Butler and that other guy one time, raise your hand.
I wanted to go for 2.
Yeah.
I wanted to win the game right then. I didn't want to wait. But I guess he did what was right because it worked out.
Coach asked me, could I go? I told him I'd give him everything I had, and that's something I do, give him everything I had, and just forgot about my leg.
It was just enough.
I think all of us played well as a whole. We knew when David went out, we was going to have to suck it up because basically our secondary is built around David.
They got you a little off balance early, throwing long and throwing well, huh?
Well, we had, this whole week, we were based on stopping the big play, and that kind of let us down in the secondary, but we got back up in the second half.
Most of the time they come up and bump us, dog coverage, and, you know, it's kind of hard for us to get our routes down like that because, you know, that's probably the hardest coverage to run your patterns against.
They were bumping you at the line and sometimes bumping you deep.
Yes, sir. They, you know, they're great athletes to be playing bump like they did, and, you know, that just shows what confidence their coach, you know, has in them. That shows what kind of athletes they are.
How was the snap in the hole on the field goal?
Oh, it's perfect. You know, the snap's been there all year, and I'm real thankful for Pat Mode. He's done a good job, and I'm thankful for Robert McGiddy. You know, that's got to be a thrill for him. You know, he's so young.
You had 2 big plays. You had to tie first. You had to kick that extra point. That was tough, and then you had to kick the field goal.
Yeah, it was. You know, I'm happy for this team because it was a true team win. That's what we needed.
Another hot, muggy day for football. One wonders, Pat, when we're going to have some football weather.
Well, I don't know. We probably won't get it in Gainesville, that's for sure. But we had a good crowd there yesterday, and they were vocal, and you could certainly tell that Auburn people came to support the team, and we deeply appreciate that. A lot of people played well yesterday. You can see early on that we had good play from our defensive line and defensive ends, and Greg Carr had an outstanding day, and the second half defense was just, I mean, we had to have it. We couldn't have won the football game without our defense playing the way it did because they gave us problems moving the football all day long as Mike Mann coming back and throwing to Trey Gaines. And
they threw on almost every down opening the game.
Right. It was obvious that they felt like they could throw the football against us, and they did, and they had some success with it. But we came back and adjusted a little bit, and they still completed a few passes, but they didn't get the big one again. And those 2 big defensive tackles of Mississippi State are fine football players, and they gave us problems just like we figured they would. Here's a fine interception right here by Victor Beasley, and we get the ball in excellent field position. And
they're 20.
Right, and we give it right back to them. It's a play where they come through. Out here you can see the middle linebacker there runs through and hits Collis about the time he catches the ball, and they get the ball right back. And it was kind of that's kind of the way the first half went. It was frustrating. They started out throwing, and we came back and ran the trap on us real well, and the quarterback kept the ball a couple of times for big plays. And I think we're trying, but it's a difference in the intensity right here. There's the trap again. We tried to have a little stunt in there a couple of times that they hurt us with when we ran the stunts, and actually we couldn't do it. And they had a good plan for the goal line defense and running the trap, and actually it was more the design of the defense than it was the kids playing it, and that's, you know, coaching mistakes that sometimes players have to overcome.
This is the beginning of Auburn's first drive.
Mike hitting Jeff Parks on a fine play right here. They had double coverage on Freddie, and Mike drops the ball off to Collins out there in the flat, and he makes a nice gain with it. Here he pitches the ball to Kyle Collins. That was a 4th down play right there, I believe, wasn't it?
4th and 2, right.
Pitch the ball to Kyle on the option. And
into the first quarter, same drive.
Fine run, good blocking right there by everybody on the run down to the 3-yard line, and to come back, and Collis running tough inside. And I tell you what, I can remember playing against Mississippi State, and it's been the same way. That says fine play and execution on the option right here. Pitches Tim Jessup for the touchdown.
It's a good read right in there, wasn't it?
Well, it's just Mike eliminated the corner with the pitch, and football team, but I can remember playing against Mississippi State, and it's been the same way every time that we've played them since I've been at Auburn, is that, you know, we've won some football games, but I'll guarantee you come out of the game with knots on your head. Fine play by Kevin Green. Kevin Green is really playing well for us right now, and as well as Gerald Robertson and Edward Phillips and John Daly's had some big plays. Fine, you can see them coming back right there, just picking them off on the punt return. Trey Gaines returns the ball from 25 or 30 yards, and as Reggie Ware running inside. Tommy Agee, of course, didn't play yesterday. Might have played 1 or 2 plays, but he couldn't go on his ankle. And Demetrius Street and Reggie Ware played the whole game at fullback for us. And
4th and 1 here.
Here's a great run by Collis Campbell. Comes up, breaks a tackle. That's a great, great effort on Collis's part, and goodness, what he has meant to our football team. As Bo's gone down, he's just gotten better and better, and started his first game yesterday. And here, this could have been just a little more as far as the execution there. We could have had us a touchdown because Demetrius was running wide open and got the pitch and catch there. And we don't get any points out of that, and that was a big, big thing in the ball game. Here, the quarterback Smith, and that guy right there is a great athlete. Fine hit on part of Victor Beasley. The guy's a great athlete, and he just tremendous speed, strength. Did a good job of throwing the football against us yesterday. Here you're going to see him duck up inside and make another big play, gets the ball down around the 5-yard line, and they take it in on the next play on the trap. That's right, and like I said, they called us slanting our defense, and this carried us the way we were going and opened up too big a hole for the linebackers to cover, and they just blocked us and executed, and it was very, very serious at the half, 21-7 behind.
We'll be back in just a minute and talk some about that. For our Auburn feature today, Carl Velker tells us about the Auburn Technical Assistance Center.
The Auburn Technical Assistance Center, ATAC, helps businesses to solve problems of management and production by applying the most up-to-date methods of research and development. For instance, this firm, a manufacturer of plumbing products, needed an analysis of its product distribution system. ATAC was contacted, and a team of researchers and management specialists went to work.
I would say it's a worthwhile service in terms of the involvement of the Auburn people. They provided a distinct involvement that is beneficial in crystallizing our thoughts. The ATAC program provided assistance at a time when it became critical in the development of one of our operations. Based on that study, we designed the entire plant and went ahead and are presently enlarging the operation.
Since its inception in 1977, ATAC has served more than 200 business clients, most of them in Alabama. Meeting the practical needs of Alabama business, the Auburn Technical Assistance Center is an important part of Auburn University's mission of research, instruction, and public service.
Well, I would say you had a job to do at the half, Coach.
Well, you know, it wasn't so much, I don't think I got on the player so much as the thing that I wanted us to leave the dressing room with was a confidence that we could win the football game. When you're 14 points down, you're in serious trouble. And I didn't want us to leave that dressing room with a defeated attitude or a frustrated attitude and feel like we had to go out there and do it in one play. The one key thing about the second half, Phil, is that you can't come from behind like that unless you play great defense. You have absolutely no chance at all because they control the ball against you the way they did the first half against us yesterday. Then you don't get the ball enough to come back. And certainly you got to score enough points to win. But the second half, really, I'll give the defense credit for winning the football game and getting the offensive ball enough to get the necessary points. And, of course, we did what we had to do on offense, too. That's Mike pitching this. There's a key 4th down play right there. And I don't know, somebody said went for 5 or 6 4th down plays yesterday and made them all. But you get in a situation like we were in yesterday, you got to take a few chances and you got to convert them. That's part of winning the close games. That's throwing to Jeff Parks comes back and hands off to Kyle Collins, and this is a touchdown drive here. And Big Reggie Ware's running inside, picks up another key first down, pitching the ball here to Tim Jesse, and Tim makes a nice run down to around the 6-yard line. And we just trying to run straight at him, and now he takes it in for the touchdown.
That's really digging there by
Well, you know, I'll say again, Mississippi State's a fine defensive football team. They have big, strong guys that know how to tackle. They play the fundamentals the way they're supposed to play them, and I don't think you're going to see many folks just running up and down the field against them. So that brings it back to 21-14, and it puts us in position now to have a chance to win it.
Then a waiting game begins.
Right, we're still, but we're playing good on defense. We're playing good on defense. That's a key play right here. Greg Carr and Pat Thomas stop him a yard short of a first down and force them to punt the football. So they can't take any chances because they got the lead.
Their next series, this is late.
That's a great play right there by Greg Carr, and you can see the number of white jerseys around that ball carrier, and it's what you need every time. Great play right there, and 3rd and short by John Daly.
3rd and 2, and
squeezed down in there, and we took our option responsibilities the second half and didn't break down any and had some big plays. Here's another outstanding play right there by Nate Caesar, hitting that tight end, the flanker on a slant route. Pressure on the quarterback. Gerald Williams, Gerald Robertson, Alex Duchop, Harold Hallman.
Stop him again.
Just swarming the football.
No first downs in the 3rd quarter. Now we're in the 4th quarter.
As Ben Thomas coming out there. Gerald Robertson again. Ben McCurdy. Just, you know, every down is a big one here. Every down is a big one, and they come back, and this is the 2 first downs of the second half. They make 2 consecutive first downs and throw into that guy in the seam right there, and that decent coverage, you just threw it right in a crack and picked up the 2 first downs, but that's the last one.
They had 59 yards of offense in the second half.
Good play right there by, who was that, Jim Bone? Or couldn't quite tell who it was. Here's a reverse, played well by Ben Thomas, slows him down. Tommy Powell makes a hit from the back along with Harold Hallman and Pat Thomas. They're coming back. Here's outstanding run right here, getting the ball off the goal line. This is our touchdown drive here.
No, this is the one where they get it out and punt and then get field position.
Okay, well, we get field position here, and Hollis Campbell takes the ball on the pitch, and you can see Mississippi State is hitting too there. It's not a one-way street out there. They stop us right here, I believe, on 3rd and short. We punt the football to them.
This was a big play here.
You got confidence to do all the things that you need to do as far as your strategy is concerned, as long as you play in defense. There's Greg Carr and Harold Hallman again, making the play on the trap, the play that they hurt us very badly with the first half. Come right back, and Ben Thomas gets in the quarterback's face, forces him to pitch the ball out on the ground for a loss. They get back on the ball, but it stops their drive. Here the quarterback goes back to throw. Pulls the ball down to run. Joe Robertson and Ben Thomas strip him of the ball. Greg Carr's right on top of it. We get the ball around the 33 or 4 yard line.
33.
Great field position for offense to take this one in for the tying touchdown.
How many times do great teams play and play and play and wait for that break?
Well, you just got to have faith and you got to believe. There's a great throw and catch right there on the part of Mike Mann and Freddie Wiggin. We probably should have thrown that pass more. We had it all day long. This is a great run, and I'm not so sure that Brent didn't score right here, but you're talking about a great piece of running to get that ball in the end zone.
He wanted it.
We come back and run the big guy twice inside, and he puts it over for the touchdown.
4th down, too.
Boy, he gets it in there right here. Offensive line did a good job of coming off the football right there. And
3 minutes, 13 seconds in the game now, and you decide to go ahead and tie it.
Well, I think that that was the best way to win the football game, and we weren't playing for a tie, but to put the ball in their hands and force them to have to make the decisions. And
Ben Thomas.
Pat Thomas, great play. Come back, and of course, I didn't even realize. I would have certainly gone for it if I realized that Smith was hurt, but they come back with a backup quarterback, Lundy, and we get the ball in excellent field position here. Trey Gaines runs the ball back out to the 40-yard line.
2:13 to go now.
First play from scrimmage, Collis Campbell breaks about a 20-yard run right here. You can't see it on film, but it had an outstanding block at the line of scrimmage, and Clayton Buford blocked the free safety, and we get the ball out to excellent field position. Good run right here by Mike Mann, gets the ball in field goal range. They stop us. We run the sweep to get the ball in the middle of the field.
Run about 15 seconds off the clock.
Right. We told Mike to let the clock run down to 3 seconds. He actually let it run down to 2, or the official did, before we got it stopped. Robert McGinney comes in, and I don't think there was any question about it.
It was dead letter perfect.
Right down the middle, and the game is over, and we just played it right down to the wire. And Mississippi State deserves a lot of credit because they certainly did a great job. The coaching staff did. The players played hard, and but for our own football team, I'm tremendously proud of them, and just the way they stood up under the pressure and the poise and the confidence and the class that they displayed yesterday was just as significant to me as anything that we've done all year long, including the deal down in Tallahassee.
We'll be back in just a minute. Next week, it's Florida in Gainesville. We're talking serious football now, Coach.
Well, it's been a classic every year we've played it, and Florida's got a great football team. They're probably the biggest, strongest, most physical football team that we've played. They're kind of on a roll, playing at their place. They'll be fresh, and rested.
They have a lot of emotion. They're hanging on.
Well, that's right. Well, they've always had outstanding fan support in Gainesville, and their football team is playing well. They've got a lot at stake playing Auburn, but Auburn's got just as much at stake as Florida does, and we've got to do a great job in preparation this week from the coaching staff, players, and concentration to make up for the fact that Florida's had that extra week. And if we get that done, we're not afraid to go to Gainesville. We're kind of looking forward to it.
And it will be on television for you. We'll see you next week with the playback on Sunday. Thank you.
The Auburn Football Review with Coach Pat Dye has been brought to you by Colonial Bank, Louder Realty, Better Homes and Gardens, Federated Guarantee Life, Pepsi and your local Pepsi bottler, Long's Electronics, and Snapper.
Now, Movie Montgomery.
I don't think there's any, just looking at it, there's nothing magical about what happened out there tonight. We just got a good old-fashioned whipping. Up front, just everywhere. That's about as simple as you can put it. They whipped us on offense, they whipped us on defense. And they're a good football team. They're not that much better than you are. But they were tonight. So, I'll tell you what I want you to do. I want you to, and we can't do this without your understanding. But I know you're a tired football team. And I want you to take tomorrow and Monday off. Don't think I'm giving you tomorrow and Monday off because we're playing a weak opponent in Cincinnati. That's not the reason behind it. I want you to take tomorrow and Monday off, get away from football for a couple of days, regroup, and come back and be a better football team against Cincinnati, get well, get ready for Georgia and Alabama. But don't ever doubt the things that we've talked and preached all year long will win.
This is it. It ain't going nowhere but up from here.
I'm going to go back
out there and thank our people.
The Auburn Football Review with Coach Pat Dye. Brought to you by Colonial Bank, Louder Realty, Better Homes and Gardens, Federated Guarantee Life, Pepsi and your local Pepsi bottler, Long's Electronics, and Snapper.
Welcome to the Auburn Football Review. Yesterday, Florida Field, Florida 24, Auburn 3. Sometimes football can be a humbling experience, Coach.
Well, Florida did all the things yesterday that we like for our Auburn team to do. They outfought us. They outcoached us. They wanted to win worse than we did. And they showed a lot of poise and confidence and class. Won in the fourth quarter. And it's nothing, you know, I don't think there's any miracles in football. Maybe one every once in a while, but it's blocking and tackling and desire and, you know, very, very, I guess there's a few games won on X's and O's, but what Florida did to us yesterday was not done on the blackboard. It was done on the football field, and they had a simple plan offensively, a good plan. Their coaching staff and their players, you know, have done a tremendous job of pulling together and sticking together, and you know, and they're getting results of it. And I really think Florida right now is probably one of the top football teams in the country, maybe the best football team in the country, because I think they're stronger than anybody we played this year, including Texas and Miami. But they had a simple plan offensively. They shouldn't be able to do on defense what they did against us yesterday. But if they keep in, basically they stopped our inside running game with 3 people. And if they can do that, then, you know, we can't run our offense. And that's exactly what happened, because if they can take 3 people and stop the inside running game, then they got too many for the passing game. They take away your passing game, and you can't take the ball outside. So they whipped us inside in the offensive line, and our fullback running inside, being able to make our read stuff go. And you know, and our offense, our defense didn't play that well, but our defense was hanging in there. But our offense never did anything to give our defense any hope in the ball game.
And Dyke broke in the fourth quarter.
That's right, and they finally just, you know, they wore us down. I don't think we quit or anything like that, but it's just a matter of just staying on that field so long defensively. And Florida's got an outstanding, probably the best offensive line that we've played against probably since Nebraska a couple of years ago. And their running backs, all of them have big, strong guys, over 200 pounds, and got great speed. And they broke a lot of tackles in the game, and their little quarterback did an excellent job of running the offense. And, of course, you know, they took us, what they did against us, took us out of our offensive schemes, and 24-3 as a result of it. And doesn't make it any easier, and Florida deserves all the credit. I don't think his football team's through by any means. We got to regroup and get ready for Cincinnati.
Let's go into the post-game dressing room now and hear what some of the players had to say.
How did you feel physically?
Well, I'm not in the best shape that I can be in, but I went out and I wasn't scared or anything. I just went out and played football tonight. And just our luck, Florida had a better team than we did tonight.
You came through all right. You okay?
Yes, I'm fine.
You think that you've overcome the barrier now that you're ready to play?
Well, not quite, but I got all next week to work on that, and that's what I'm going to do.
You able to run okay? Did you come through all right?
Well, I came through all right. You know, I couldn't cut like I used to, but I came through fairly well.
Yes, sir. They were really good. We went out there and tried to perform good. It just didn't turn out the way we wanted to turn out.
How's the ankle?
Well, it's kind of sore, but after I loosened it up today before the game, it got real loose and flexible, and I was able to move a little bit on it. Hopefully it'll be ready for next week.
Think a couple of days off will help?
Oh, yeah, I'm sure it will. Sure it will.
Touchdown, the first long run he made in the second half. Anderson made, you all were in a blitz in, weren't you?
Yes, we sure were.
Just worked right, huh?
I'm telling you.
What do you do now, Ben?
You go home, you regroup, and get it all together. You get your head straight, come back and win the rest of them.
The record crowd at Florida Field, a little slow getting in the stadium. There had been heavy rains there about 3 hours before the game.
And it didn't rain any at all during the game, and certainly the weather was not a factor in the ball game. Bill, you're going to see that we had plenty of opportunities in the ball game. We just didn't cash in on them. We actually had a chance right going down after they went ahead 10-3. We go down and have an incomplete pass. They take the ball right here and drive it right down the field, and this is a key play right here. And their guy makes a great catch.
I thought he'd intercept it.
Well, he gets hit and makes the catch anyway. Yeah, they automatic on a blitz situation and make a key first down going in. Right here's a called fumble by Victor Beasley. And we stopped the drive right there. Would have put them in a field goal situation. It was third down. And we don't get the ball off the goal line. You're going to see our backs fall backwards all day long, and theirs fall forward. And that's a sign of the way the game went. Here we have near disaster. That guy couldn't come up with it. We punt the ball out and did a good job on punt coverage yesterday. Arthur Johnson makes a nice play on the return, and
there were some more Eagles there.
Right here, this is a key play that they hurt us on bad yesterday.
They really made a big play in the second half on that play, didn't they?
Well, it was a play that they hit in crucial situations. There's a missed tackle, and again we hit two people and we're not through them. Anderson and John L. Williams and Hampton all had great days running the football. There's another key pass, third down situation coming in. We stop them here. Good play by Harold Hallman, Gerald Williams, Greg Carr. Greg had a lot of tackles in the ball game yesterday. Get good pressure. Kevin Green right here.
Well, that
quarterback did a great job of getting rid of the football right there.
That pro rule would have been nice there.
Yeah, it would have. Come back and have good coverage on him. Jonathan Robertson covering that wide out. Forces them into a field goal here, and they go ahead 3-0. And that's all the points Florida gets the first half. And really, I checked the statistics coming back last night to play-by-play, and going into the fourth quarter, we were pretty close to even.
Right.
Mike could have got that ball pitched there. We might have had a long run. Bo had knocked down a free safety and the strong safety coming all the way across the field. You can see right there again, gang tackling and knocking out people back, and we don't have theirs falling backwards very much.
First down run there by Fullwood on 3rd and 3. This is the 3rd and 8 play now.
Nice play. We turned over at midfield, have a good field position, have a little drive going. Turn the ball over and...
But Auburn holds them there, and now we're in the second quarter. Actually, Auburn's best quarter.
Fine play right here by John Daly. And another fine play by Greg Carr, Arthur Johnson, Gerald Robertson.
Did you feel that Auburn was taking control of the game here?
Well, we began to stop them on defense, and I just felt like that they were getting weaker and we were getting stronger. And I think maybe, the momentum shifted a little bit.
That was a great individual play there.
I guess that was Criswell,
right.
The punter, and had the ball snapped over his head, and our guy was trying, he just beat him back after the ball and kind of got what looked like a quick kick. Here's Bo making the run on the sweep for 7-8 yards. And Pat Washington, Mike Mann started at quarterback, and Pat comes in and takes us down. And get a field goal here. As guy just beat us, outside guy. McGinney kicks a 49-yard field goal. And Robert has got a strong leg and meant a lot to our football team this year. He's, of course, a walk-on freshman, not on scholarship. Has a fine play by Greg Carr and Pat Thomas.
He's a 2nd and 10 play here.
And we stop him again. Good coverage right there by Alvin Briggs. And one thing in the ball game yesterday, we gave up a long run, but we didn't give up a long pass. There's a fine play, outstanding play by Gerald Robertson and 3rd down situation, and now they've got to punt the football back to us. And we get the ball back with a chance to get something else on the board.
This is close to a touchdown here.
Run the counter dive right here to Collis Campbell. Come back and hit Clayton Buford across the middle, and Clayton just stays up and runs right there. He can run right in the end zone. And we come back the next play. We got it in field goal range and throw the interception.
And so that's the way it ends. Auburn, Florida has a couple of plays, but the half is a 3-3 tie. We'll be back in just a moment. Of course, the eagle is the favorite bird at Auburn, but the way things have been going on construction-wise at the university, the construction crane might be the favorite bird. Let's take...
For the people of Alabama.
Yeah, I guess you never know about football, but I felt that Auburn had withstood their best shot and maybe had the upper hand in the game starting in the 3rd quarter.
Well, Phil, you know, we come back in the 2nd half and don't move the football offensively and hold them a couple of times defensively and have a couple of short punts and never gain field position. And then we call a blitz and they break the touchdown run, and you know we take it back down and miss a 4th down play. So I mean, Florida's playing good and we're not playing very good. And there's a nose guard whipping us, and he whipped us most of the night. And he's the one that really disrupted our offense inside because we couldn't get him blocked.
3rd down play just short of the 1st there. And not a good punt by...
Well, Lewis didn't have one, you know, he just didn't have a very good night punting the football. And you're going to have one of those days occasionally. You just don't want to, but it happens.
They begin
that's life and that's football.
They begin at midfield.
We stop them here. They come back, and there's a counter play that they hurt us with so bad later on in the ball game. And it's just a matter of recognition and whipping a few blocks and making tackles. Fine play by Greg Carr here. That actually put them in a, what was that, a third down situation there?
Yeah.
They have a penalty along here somewhere for 5 yards, I think, and good coverage by Tommy Powell. They mishandle a snap on a punt field goal right here, and we get the ball, and we got it out in good field position right here, but we don't make a 1st down. And then we have a short punt, and they got it right back in field goal range again.
They defensive well.
You could tell that they had a lot of recognition on things that we were doing, and it was they were well prepared. There's no doubt about it. Now there's a short punt that give them the ball out at midfield, and you just cannot keep doing that with a football team like Florida. So their running backs are falling forward. We got one guy on the tackle, and they got 3 and 4 and 5. Here's a blitz coming. We got the blitz called, and they run the counter sweep, and I don't guess anybody touched him. And that's Neil Anderson, and he has got great speed, and he is an outstanding football player and a fine young man. We tried to recruit Neil. As Pat hitting Bo in the flat. Now we're going to take this ball and drive it down to get it in field goal range and
started at the 12-yard line.
Started at the 12-yard line, and we get it down to their 36, I believe. That's Pat running, keeping the ball on the option. He comes back on the bootleg right here and hits Jeff Parks. And
at the 43 of Florida now.
As Tim Jesse makes a nice run, 6 to 8 yards, and
That's a 3rd and 1 play here.
Right, Brent had the first down made and spun out and tried to keep running and ended up losing a yard.
4th and 3 now, going for it at the 36.
We come out here and Pat hits Reggie Ware and can't quite hold on to it, and that stops the drive. And we stop them again here, and there's a fine play right there by Greg Carr, Ben Thomas. There's Mark Aston on the sideline. Mark is a senior that's on the scout teams right now that's done a great job for us. And
it was a 3rd and 2 play.
Very unselfish individual. They do a great job of kicking the ball out of bounds at the 1-yard line. We're going to get this one off the goal line. Bo runs a sweep.
Amazing, run 11 plays here on this drive and
get it out to the 30-yard line. This is Pat Washington running the option again and gets it out to around the 15. Here he hits Jeff Parks to the 25. We'll go for it on 4th down. Here's 10 to 3, and we're still trying to win. About 10 minutes to go in the game, and we get forced into a 3rd and long situation, and they come with a strong safety blitz and throw us for a loss, and we get called for grounding the ball and end up having to punt out of our own end zone. And there again, we're giving the Florida the ball in excellent field position. They got the ball at their 49-yard line, and they are too good for that. And we had them stopped. We had them stopped at third and four there. And they come out and hit the little old fullback in the flat misdirection play that you talked about earlier. Take it on down the field, and that's the same play that he scored on with before the counter sweep. We haven't stopped it yet, and they got one more to go before the night's over with. Pass throwing to Kyle Collins. Kyle picks up a 1st down. We're having to go to a hurry-up offense now and get pressure on the quarterback, and Pat pulls it down, scrambles, and I'm not sure whether he picked up a 1st down there or not. I guess he did.
Pat's first action in 2 weeks.
We're forced into a punting situation here now. And there's, the clock's running down. We're breaking tackles and falling forward, and the fatigue factor has begun to set in now, and they got us on a roll. They're on a roll, and safety man slips down on the wet turf, and Hampton takes it in for the touchdown and makes it 24-3. And again, Phil, I think it's a fine, fine Florida football team, and I would like to say that just compliment the Florida players and the coaches again, because I think they showed more class, and the fans yesterday, it was more like what college football is supposed to be about, even though we lost a football game and they embarrassed us and hurt our pride and everything else. I got to think that they deserve everything they got.
Okay, we'll be back in just a minute. Well, when you analyze things, Pat Dye, Auburn still has an opportunity to win 9 games, and anything can still happen in this SEC race.
Well, that's right, Phil. The thing that we've got to do now is a football team. Our kids, and they're the same ones that came back against Florida State and the same ones that came back against Mississippi State and won close football games. It's been the most difficult season that I've been around, because we played 4 out of the last 5 weeks. We've been on the road. We knew that coming into the season, and the thing that we've got to do now is there's got to be a settling effect on our football team, players, fans, coaches, and everybody, because we've gone downhill since the Florida State game. Even though we had that good half against Georgia Tech, we've digressed. The thing that we've got to reach at, we've reached a point now to where we got to start back up, and we're going to take today and tomorrow off, and start back to work Tuesday and try to get our people healthy and well and be ready to play against Cincinnati on homecoming.
All right, and we'll have that for you next Sunday. Thank you. Good afternoon.
The Auburn Football Review with Coach Pat Dye has been brought to you by Colonial Bank, Louder Realty, Better Homes and Gardens, Federated Guarantee Life, Pepsi and your local Pepsi bottler, Long's Electronics, and Snapper.
In the trucking industry, 50 years later.
No turnovers. Got you shut out, men. Real proud of you and happy for you. It's entirely different out there today in the second half than it was against Georgia Tech, and I appreciate it. Halftime talk? Halftime talk, okay, good. Well, you know what we got next week? They'll be good. I don't know what took place in Jacksonville today. It doesn't make any difference. They'll be ready to play when they come to Auburn. You know that. So make your plan accordingly. But don't ever doubt the things that we've talked and preached all year long will win.
This is it. It ain't going nowhere but up from here.
I'm going to go back out there and thank our people.
The Auburn Football Review with Coach Pat Dye. Brought to you by Colonial Bank, Louder Realty, Better Homes and Gardens, Federated Guarantee Life, Pepsi and your local Pepsi bottler, Long's Electronics, and Snapper.
Welcome to the Auburn Football Review. Homecoming on the Plains yesterday, and a 60-0 win over Cincinnati. I would think a tonic for a football team that needed a good win, Coach.
Well, the rest that we got last week, I think, helped us, and certainly the game yesterday was a lot of fun for our football team and the fans. We got to play so many people, and everybody got in on the action, and it was just it was a good day for Auburn people. And Cincinnati played hard, but they were just, they were overmatched and outmanned. I thought that some good things came out of the football game. I thought, even though we knew we were not playing a real strong opponent in Cincinnati, but playing that many quarterbacks and that many people and that many different folks handling the football and not turning it over was certainly a feat in itself. Defensively, keeping them off the scoreboard was something that I thought that, was good for our defensive football team. Had a lot of people that's looking at the tape that played real well in the game, and we'll catch them as we go through the tape.
Okay, let's first go in the dressing room and see some of the post-game comments.
Looks like you could make your cuts today. Was it better?
Yes, it was a whole lot better. The guy that taped up very well and went out there, and I was determined, to play on the ankle, just get everything going right, and it came around.
We've got a big game coming up in Georgia. I don't think
you know, you can't overlook Cincinnati, but, you know, I think we played hard and the effort was good today.
You know, Robert, I don't believe you can kick a 53.5-yard field goal.
I was real lucky on that one. I'm glad the Lord was with me on it. It really had nothing going for me right on it. I was late getting it off and almost got blocked.
Well, you didn't hit it really well, huh?
It was off the toe of my foot, but...
Did you see it bounce on the crossbar?
At first, when I hit it, you know, I thought it had good distance on it, so I was kind of scared when it hit, but I'm glad it went through.
You know, we needed to get on track for Georgia next week and Alabama, you know, the following 2 weeks. If we're going to stay in contention for the Sugar Bowl and SEC Championship, we've got to get better every week, and I think we got a little bit better this week.
We had a challenge this week to get ready to play against Cincinnati, even though the record wasn't very good. And instead of coming out and just doing just enough to get by and win, I think we came out and got our momentum going, and hopefully, if things will fall right, we still have to start the Sugar Bowl.
Well, you got a sack, huh?
Yeah, I got 2.
Feel good?
Oh, feel real good.
You back healthy now?
Yeah, I'm back right.
Just in time, because you got to go against a team you've heard of next week, huh? What do you think about this team?
Well, I respect him. I got a teammate on that team. He'll be blocking me. And, you know, I'm going to get it all my all because I'm from Georgia, and I got something to prove.
Well, anytime you get a shutout, it helps. Certainly, I don't know if it'll help for next week or not, but it helps us overall. And we've needed it all year long. We've had a chance in some other games, but never been able to do it. And to put it together the second half like we did, I'm proud of them. We got a lot of folks to playing, and I guess everybody we had out there that was eligible to play played. We weren't holding out.
It helped us out, especially the defense. It's going to, you know, give us a chance to really pull together and, you know, let everybody know that, you know, we can play as a team because we're going to need, you know, we're going to need this going up against Georgia. They're, you know, strong football team.
I'd ever see a homecoming game. These are the 15 seniors.
Seniors, Mike Mann, Tracy Turner, Jim Bone, Jeff Ostrowski, John Daly, Mark Aston, Kevin Green, Terry Walker, Nat Caesar, Victor Beasley, Chet Williams, and Ben Thomas, and Greg Carr.
David King, of course, is injured.
David King is injured, and I missed Clayton Buford in there somewhere. But they are where I captained yesterday for homecoming, and
your first group, wasn't it?
They will be for the Georgia game and the Alabama game. When they get to be seniors, they get to, you just have some reason you have a little more of a special feeling for them. As Ben Thomas and Tommy Powell made the first play on a little swing pass. Ben comes back and makes a play there. And they punt to us. We get it out in good field position, and doesn't take us long to get it in the end zone.
2.5 minutes was already.
I think it's about 30 seconds on this drive. Right there's pitch to Kyle Collins for about 9 yards, and we played all of our running backs yesterday. Collis Campbell comes back and makes a first down, and Pat Washington is going to throw to Freddie Waygan for the touchdown right here and make it look awful easy. Freddie's got great concentration. He made 2 catches yesterday in the ball game that were unbelievable.
Look at it again here.
Good blocking in the offensive line yesterday. We had plenty of time to throw the football, and just not having talked to the offensive line coaches, it looked like it. I saw some awful good blocks coming off. There's some happy folks there. There's Freddie and Pat on the sideline, and the thing we were looking for, there's Ben Thomas coming on the sack and almost got the fumble right there. The thing that we were looking for was some consistency and going out and playing hard and having fun playing, and they had some talent in their offense. Both of their quarterbacks threw the ball well. That guy right there could play for anybody in the country. The little Reggie Taylor and Tommy Powell and Greg Carr on the tackle here. We get a sack by Nate Hill. Gerald Williams didn't play yesterday, sprained his ankle Thursday, and we held him out of the ball game. He's come back, and Kevin Green has really played outstanding football in the last, all season long, really. I guess he's leading our team in sacks. Here we got the run and sweep to Bo, and he picks up 5 or 6 yards.
Nice to see him breaking tackles.
Well, Bo is, he's coming along. Here's Brent Fullwood. Good block by Bo right there, and the tight end, Ben Tamburello downfield, and Stacy Searles, and Steve Wilson, and Randy Stokes. There's a fine run by Tommy. There's a good block right there by Jeff Ostrowski. It's, we just, coming off of football, there's a key
4th and 1 there.
4th and 1 play. We'll give it to Bo on a blast, and he's going to take a sweep into the touchdown. Good blocking, wall off the whole side of the line there, and Brent kicked the corner out, and Tommy blocked the free safety,
and he picked him up and shook his hand after he did right there.
Well, I think Cincinnati's doing the right thing. They're a young football team, and they were just outmanned yesterday. They played 2 quarterbacks, and I thought both of them were, pretty good little operators. Great play by John Daly, and John Daly is another one that is really playing outstanding football right now. Played good against Mississippi State and Florida, and has that little running back, and he is a good one. I think just the last 3 ball games, Greg Carr's played the best that he's played since he's been at Auburn. He's played 3 really outstanding football games and went out and did the same thing against yesterday. He played outstanding against Florida and Mississippi State.
Second quarter now.
Is Pat throwing to Clayton Buford? Greg, I think, probably played with close to a stress fracture or something in his. Is Collis Campbell, good block by Tim Jesse, and Ron Middleton. Jeff Parks and Ron Middleton give us a 1-2 punch, and that's a near touchdown right there. Wish Clayton could have caught that one. He needed to catch that. We come back and pitch the ball to Bo on the sweep. Don't get a clean block out there, but Bo outruns him and makes a nice little move right there to get by that last guy and get it in the end zone.
Collis Campbell on the corner.
Collis is blocking there. We need to go on ahead and cut that outside knee, though, and it makes it a lot clearer decision for the running back when you can cut him down. You can go ahead and take it to the outside or get up underneath him, either one. Here's good pressure right here. Harold Hallman, Kevin Green again, stopping him. There's Greg, Jim Bone on the tackle.
Here comes Nate.
And there's Nate coming and good pressure, and actually caused a fumble there, and we let it lay on the ground. Looked like it lay there for a minute. They finally got on it and come back and snapped the ball over the punter's head for a safety. Then they punt to Trey Gaines, and Trey gets an outstanding return right here for about 30 yards, I think. Good blocking. And we take this one in to score. Is this a field goal here?
Mike Mann coming.
Mike came in at quarterback.
His touchdown.
It's 23 to nothing, and he hits Clayton, comes back and hits Collis Campbell down the sideline to, I guess, about the 3 or 4 yard line, and takes us a couple of snaps here to get it in the end zone versus Danny Robinson. We come back and run the sweep to Bo, and he gets it in. And I guess that's 30-29 now. We missed an extra point here.
Right.
And we let Chris Knapp kick some yesterday, and he hadn't had a chance to kick all year long. But they come back, and you can see the quarterback has got a strong arm, and number 83, Foster, is an outstanding receiver. There's Kevin Green again on the sack. I don't know how many sacks did he have yesterday.
He had about.
I think we had 12 tackles for losses during the course of the ball game for about 100 yards, and there's a super great kick right there. Mike Mann to Freddie way again, and Freddie comes up with the football, and we back down there knocking again. Pitch to Tim Jesse.
Tough run.
Tim's playing well, and Kyle Collins runs a counter dive. Offensive line coming off the ball. There's Buford Perkins. You can see Buford getting movement on those guys in there. Yen Cowett, and Ben Tamburella, and Eric Floyd. The offensive line just played really well. That's handed off to Reggie Ware, and Reggie is our strongest runner at that distance, and Reggie gets it in the end zone for the touchdown. And what does that make it?
36-0 at the half. Right. And we'll be back in just a minute. Mentioned it was a great homecoming at Auburn, largest crowd ever to see a homecoming game on the Plains, and a lot of activity. Here's what went on at the halftime.
At pregame ceremonies, Auburn alumni astronaut Henry Hartsfield, class of '54, was honored once again by his alma mater. for his outstanding accomplishments in America's space program. Also honored was Kennedy Space Center Director Dick Smith, Auburn class of '51, for his contributions to the space program and his support of higher education. At halftime, Governor George Wallace crowned this year's Miss Homecoming, Debbie Webb of Birmingham. The other Miss Homecoming finalists are Julie Barnes of Dunwoody, Georgia, Pidge Burt of Eclectic, Leanne Hendricks of Snellville, Georgia, and Christy Thomas of Gadsden. Homecoming 1984 on the Auburn University campus.
I don't know of any better recruiting tool than that, Coach, those pretty girls.
Well, you know, the thing that you look at the fans in the stands, and you're going to see old folk, children, young folk, see them in coats and ties and
everything.
Auburn people come from all kind of folks. They're not just one kind. They come in pickup trucks and Cadillacs and Rolls Royces and oh me.
Your baby girl Wanda was in the press box walking.
Wanda's doing fine. She's going to be off crutches in a week or so. And here's a great run by Brent Fullwood, a little misdirection play, and I don't know how long the run was, but
65 yards.
When he gets out in the open one-on-one, then
looking at it again,
he's got an advantage. It's good to see all of the running backs have an opportunity to run the football yesterday, and we had the ball a lot, and they and of course the defense was getting the ball back for us. So
I know you reminded them in the dressing room about Georgia Tech.
Well, we did. We thought it was a great play and a great hit by Andre Bruce. It knocks the ball loose from him on the kickoff, and goodness, we got it right back down there again. Tommy Powell comes up with a fumble recovery. They had some of the Auburn children, future Tigers. Mike Mann comes right back and hits Clayton Buford a little out route, and Clayton picks up a first down. Mike comes back and pitches back to Brent. He takes it down inside the 10. We just offensive line, doing a good job. Jeff Lott and a whole bunch, and there's Tim makes a nice move. You see they got most of them knocked down. Tim actually had a bigger hole inside than he did outside, but I guess he knew where he could get in the end zone. There's another little War Eagle. They don't quit playing, though. They come right back and they keep on trying. This is Greg Carr making another outstanding play on the outside.
That's not easy to do, to line a guy up. He didn't like that, is it?
Well, John Daly scratching and clawing to get there, and John had 3 or 4 sacks yesterday. Pat Thomas, and just has some more Auburn children. It's Jeff Berger. Jeff, I tell you, he is just watching him in practice, and yesterday he's getting better and better, and did a great job reading and running the option and quickness. And
Demetrius Street right there.
Didn't throw the ball quite as well as he's throwing it in practice, but he did well when he was out there. There's a counter dive to Tim Jesse. Robert McGinney comes in and kicks a 53-yarder. I got tickled at Robert yesterday. I told him I want to let Chris Melton kick some because he hadn't kicked all year. He said, well, how about letting me kick the field goal? I said, well, that's fine. As Nat Hill had him back there for about a 10-yard loss, and the little guy just keeps fighting and scratching and gets out of there, and finally tackled by Harold Hallman and Victor Beasley and Jim Bone. Has good pressure on the quarterback by John Daly. We've missed him 2 or 3 times, and guys, I tell you, I like that number 8, that quarterback. Actually, that second-string quarterback. Broken up by Kevin Porter, Arthur Johnson back there, and there's John Daly coming in on another sack. Alex Duchop's back there around him.
Little rain, but it held off till the game was over.
It was fine. It was just, of course, our field is in absolutely immaculate conditions thanks to our ground crew. And there's Nat Caesar and Russ Carricker, and I don't know who the other one was. Greg Carr's after him again. We get back there around him like that. We need to put him on the ground. No, there's Tommy Powell coming in to make a play, and they got the ball down on our 10-yard line. come with a sack here. I guess a fumble. Greg Carr. Gary Kelly was there first, and then Greg came in and hit him, knocked the ball loose from him. And
that was 4th down.
Kevin Green, I think, made the recovery. Again, Jeff Berger. There's folks hustling downfield. And, you know, Phil, I promise you, we got some folks in there. I don't know the numbers on all these people. I know that Steve Posey and Tracy Turner and there's Danny Robertson running. There's Jeff Ostrowski down blocking for him. I'm trying to pick up who's in the ball game, actually. But they take it down to Sherman Johnson and there's little Lavelle Bivens, Demetrius Threet, Jeff Berger, and
that's the final.
And that is Jeff Berger actually juggled a snap from center. We had the play call for Eddie Graham to score if we could get it in the end zone. Ed is a senior, of course, and has been a vital part of our football team and program for 4 years. But Jeff juggled a snap and scored himself.
Okay. Unintended, of course.
Right.
We'll be back in just a minute. Say hello to the Dallas alumni group. They get a tape of this every week out there and watch it.
Dallas, Texas?
Yeah.
Well, I tell you, we've got alumni groups all over the country. I'm not surprised.
That was that game. Been nice to have a couple of 3 of those sprinkled through the schedule, wouldn't it?
Well, our football team hasn't had any rest, and yesterday was just what we needed, and it was a week of kind of healing and getting back on to playing football like Auburn's supposed to play it, and we've got now we've got a big week in front of us in preparation for Georgia. It's of course, I think, year in and year out, the Georgia and Alabama game are the 2 biggest games on our schedule. And this year, certainly no different. Georgia's got an outstanding football team, and I think that, they ran into the same thing with Florida that we ran into, that Florida's just got a great football team. And Georgia hurt themselves with turnovers and just a couple of things here or there yesterday, and they would have been in the ball game. It's a game that's got a tremendous bearing on our season, and as well as Georgia's season.
There's a good bowl being involved here.
Right, I think that Georgia, the connection between the 2 schools is so close that it's just a good old-fashioned friendly fight. That's what it amounts to. Because
you speak from experience.
Well, I mean, it's traditional. It's over the years. The Auburn game and Auburn and Georgia game has been one where the fans enjoy each other's company, and for the most part.
How does the Dye family handle themselves during this week?
Well, I don't say anything to them. They can pull for who they want to pull for, but we're gonna be trying to win. But I really think that Coach Dooley and his staff and the football team have done another great job this year, as always, in winning close football games, and they don't really have a weakness on their football team. The offensive line is strong. Defensively, they're great as usual, and their kicking game is probably as good as anybody we've played.
Okay. Auburn, Georgia next week, 6:40 kickoff on ESPN television nationally. We'll have the playback for you on Sunday. Thank you. Good afternoon.
The Auburn Football Review with Coach Pat Dye has been brought to you by Colonial Bank, Louder Realty, Better Homes and Gardens, Federated Guarantee Life, Pepsi and your local Pepsi bottler, Long's Electronics, and Snapper.
Auburn Superstore and Dialing Dye.
want you to enjoy this one. And, but, you know, to be a champion, and you are champions, you got to learn how to win with dignity and handle it. And you'll have a lot of reporters coming through the doors here in a minute. No use for us to say anything about the Sugar Bowl. The proper authorities are going to settle that for us. We don't have we have no control over it whatsoever. We'll go if they want us to go, and if not, we're going to have somewhere to go, and it'll be a good one. But don't ever doubt the things that we've talked and preached all year long will win.
This is it. It ain't going nowhere but up from here.
I'm going to go back out there and thank our people.
The Auburn Football Review with Coach Pat Dye. Brought to you by Colonial Bank, Louder Realty, Better Homes and Gardens, Federated Guarantee Life, Pepsi and your local Pepsi bottler, Long's Electronics, and Snapper.
Welcome to the Auburn Football Review. Auburn beat Georgia last night on the Plains. I can't decide, Pat Dye, if the fans were more ready to play or the Tigers.
You know, it might be something about playing at night. I don't know. But they were ready, that's for sure. But our football team was ready, too. And you know, it was a long day for me. I promise you it was. I met them at the breakfast, and then I had bowl scouts coming by and talking, and prospects, and more meetings, and pregame, and more recruits, and finally game time came around, and I told the squad not to be getting all emotionally involved with the games that were going on television yesterday, because they sat up there and watched Florida and Kentucky and Mississippi State and LSU, and they'd been drained by 6:40 last night. But I think our coaching staff did a great job in the game plan and preparation, getting ready for Georgia, and certainly our football team is, I think right now we're having so much fun, and that's something that I'm not sure we've had all year long, because it's been, you know, we've come so far, and we've had to overcome so many injuries and so much adversity, and playing the kind of schedule we did on the road, and I mean, you know, it's just, it's been a very tough year, and our football team right now is you know, I'm loving every minute of watching them. I don't, watching them grow, and watching them grow through the year, and handle themselves, and you watch your game, and the ones that were there last night, the enthusiasm, and we finally got our legs back under us, and we got the quickness and the spirit that, you know, that we love to see Auburn play with. And Georgia's a fine football team, but you can't take anything away from them. Coach Dooley and his staff have done another great job coaching at Georgia, and their kids played hard. They had a chance to fold a couple of times in the game, and they kept fighting back, and you know, they were never out of the football game, and it was just a good old-fashioned Auburn-Georgia football game.
Now, before we see it, let's go in the post-game dressing room.
You know, I just thank God that he gave the strength to the offensive line, you know, to make them holes wide enough so that I can blow through there.
You let that guy run you down, though.
Yeah, you know, I lost a little speed, but, you know, that's costing my ankle, but...
It's good to make the cut, though, tonight, huh?
It is.
See, we had one turnover, and that didn't really affect us then because I was at the end of the game, but we shouldn't have had that, but I'm glad we kept the ball off the ground.
What a time to get it, huh?
I'm serious.
Against Georgia.
It was nice. Very nice.
Boy, that was a throw, too, and it hit you right in the breadbasket.
Yeah, Pat put it right on the money.
Did you have any thoughts of coming out of the end zone with it?
No, sir. All I worried about was catching it and not letting him get in front of me to catch it.
When you get that fullback play, things start happening, don't they?
Oh, yeah. When you get that, then it just opens up everything. It makes everything, you know, you can do. You can do it then.
Best effort?
Maybe in the first half. I don't know.
Defensive line played well. overall, everybody just played well, you know, and this make me feel good because I'm from Georgia and I can go home and brag a little bit.
Tonight, you know, we're going to celebrate this victory, and we're going to come back Monday and start to prepare for Alabama.
It looked like the old days, didn't it? And,
That's a good feeling, huh, when you
yeah.
working?
You know, it looked like Georgia maybe was trying to play us a little bit like Florida, a little outside-in defense, and sort of saying, well, we're going to see if you can do it. And that was a quick answer, I think, when he jumped out of there right off the bat. And you know, I think that excites our team because they know when that goes, everything starts condensing down. The double coverage comes off of receivers, and the whole thing just meshes together.
Hey, it feels great. I can go home with my head held high, my nose in the sky.
That's right. Now they know why I went to Auburn.
Right.
That's right. Is that right?
And I bet you there's a few over there that wish they came too.
2 years in a row, too. You know, that hasn't happened in a long time.
We love it. We love every minute of it.
For real.
What a crowd, and the weather was just right for football.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
It couldn't have been any better. And, of course, we were concerned about it being cold after we moved the game to 6:40, but it was a perfect night for football. And I don't know, it was a very exciting arena and the atmosphere to play a football game in. And Georgia came right out and made a couple of first downs. And I was concerned about Georgia being that offensive line. That center weighs 320 pounds, and the right tackle weighs 300 and something. And they just so would look at that 63 there. I don't know, he's a mountain.
Sure.
But anyway, I was scared they were going to run the ball straight at us and hurt us some. But I tell you what, our defensive line and linebackers and Harold Holman and nose guard stood in there and challenged them pretty good. And they didn't have much success running inside. We should have fielded this punt here. Trey didn't I think he might have been a little nervous. Hadn't worked all week long, but he doesn't miss fielding many of them and makes some great plays later on in the game on punt returns.
This was a near
disaster right here.
Safety.
Carlos Campbell, they get penetration on the first play, but we do get it off the goal line and far enough for Lewis to get it out there, and he really hits a beauty and comes out to, I guess, it's 55 or 60 yards. We get a face mask penalty here, and they get a nice return, and
they start at the 20, Auburn 20.
They're in business at the 20-yard line and throw an interception the first play. Now, that's smart football to throw the ball in that situation. It's not smart to throw the interception, but throwing the ball after a big turnover like that, a big play, they got a chance to catch you emotionally. Here's where it started right here. And that was great blocking in the offensive line there by Randy Stokes and Eric Floyd and Buford Perkins and Stacy Searles over there at the other tackle, and Tommy just broke it out of there and hit the crease, and Seam got between the corner and the free safety, and it's the foot race, and I really believe that if Tommy had been 100% that he might have taken that one the distance, but he didn't, and Georgia bows up. It's just like if they are tough in that area of the field, and we end up missing a field goal here, and which was, I was glad to see this bit. That was a great play right there by Harold Hallman.
And Ben Thomas, one of many.
Ben Thomas and his Ben McCurdy and Jonathan Robinson. I was so proud of Jonathan. Made that interception in the end zone a minute ago, and Jonathan, as a walk-on, is actually from Villa Rica, Georgia. Played at Lyman Ward. Little old guy, just goodness gracious, college just running hard and running over somebody there. I tell you, he and Bo and Tommy last night running football. Great catch right there by Jeff Park. That's
Bo really made some tough runs.
He ran tough, but he didn't run as good as he's run though. You're gonna see him fall down a lot. And I told him there's the same group in there on offense with Randy Stokes and Eric Floyd, and as Brent down there, he's gonna turn back and get him one right here. And Stacy Searles and Buford Perkins again, and Bo takes it down to the 1-foot line, and Reggie Ware's going to take it in from there.
He is quick off the ball.
Jonathan Robinson, though, I was talking about walking on, and as Ben Thomas. Ben played outstanding last night, and he had a good time playing, and I tell you, Greg Carr made a lot of plays. I don't know how many tackles he made. Harold Hallman had a great night. Super play right there by Tommy Powell, and I'm afraid we lost Tommy for the season last night. I don't know what, I know he hurt his knee. I don't know the extent of the injury, but.
We're in the second quarter now.
There's Pat pitching back to Bo and picks up 3 or 4 yards. comes back and hits Trey Gaines on a little stop route. Trey turns it upfield for 4 or 5 more yards. Freddie didn't play last night. He pulled a hamstring Monday. A great block right there by Kyle Collins, and cleared the way for Pat to pick up about 10 yards on the option.
3rd and 5 here.
Pitching the ball. See, now, see Bo lose his feet there and
Leaning
just dive.
too much.
Well, he just, you know, he's just not running his. He's not in the groove now. He's running hard and he's hurting people. See, he's got his weight forward, but he'll correct that.
What's this? Oh,
that is something now. I tell you what, that's Pat Washington running like Tommy Agee and Bo Jackson right there and getting that ball in the end zone, and as he's happy and I'm happy and all the fans are happy, and I'm so excited about our football team. As Kevin Green making a typical Kevin Green play on the kickoff, as Tron Jackson and Nate Hill, LaGrange, Georgia freshman, true freshman, playing, and
3rd and 7.
Gerald Williams, and then Gerald, there's Greg Carr. I think Greg, I don't know how many tackles he made last night. I tell you that Greg, I'm telling you.
He's always in the right spot.
Well, since the Mississippi State game, starting with the Mississippi State game, he has been as fine a linebacker as I've ever been around.
Can that Andrews guy punt? He didn't hurt his 45-yard average.
Well, I don't know what he did, but he's a great punter, and there's Trey getting a nice return on it. And Mike Mann comes in at quarterback, and right off he takes us right down the field, and we just, I make a stupid mistake really by going for a first down and 4th inches, but nice run by Brent Fullwood, good blocking by the offensive line, Jeff Parks, and as Clayton catching the pass on the sideline over there. Right here is a 4th down play, and you know, I'd like to say we got a bad spot on it, but really and truly, when you got 6 inches to go, you ought to make it look convincing enough to where there's not any question about whether you will make it or not. They come out and have a nice play here. Jonathan Robinson again, that number 24 for Georgia. There's a true freshman, and he can fly.
Knocked down a lot of balls.
Great play by Ben Thomas again. They run in the option. Ben takes a quarterback and have it played well.
Now, this is one series later, just before the half.
There's good pressure right there by Gerald Robinson. There's Todd Williams. A tackle by Harold Hallman. Todd's father's an old teammate of mine, Dale Williams. Dale's a high school coach down in South Georgia. Came by just as I was leaving last night and visited with him a minute. Todd been hurt some this year, but he did some good things last night, and he's quick as a cat.
14-0 at the half. We'll be back in just a minute. The new Scott Ritchie Pet Research Wing is the subject of today's university feature, dedicated yesterday at the School of Veterinary Medicine at Auburn. The Auburn basketball team is cranking up this week and will play the big game with UAB on the night of November 30th. That's Friday night before the Auburn-Alabama game. Tickets are on sale for that at both athletic ticket offices and at the Coliseum Tickets office in Birmingham. And we'd like to remind you for the Jefferson County Auburn Club that the big Beat Bama pep rally will immediately follow the ball game Friday night at the Jefferson Civic Center there, and it'll last from about 9 till probably 1 in the morning, and there'll be entertainment, cheerleaders. There's a $3 charge that's going to the scholarship fund. It should be a big night in Birmingham, as it always is. That's developing into quite a series, the basketball.
Well, you know, it's good for Auburn, and it's good for UAB, and what's good for both schools is good for Alabama. And
those first half statistics.
They look a lot better than the last half for sure. They're just laughing about in our small animal clinic there, we got that bulldog up on the operating table. I wonder if there's any significance.
I don't know if that was just coincidence or what.
The
great Auburn band. Boy, it was a great show.
It was a fun night.
It sure was.
I've never seen our students painted up like that. You know, I don't know what they've been doing all day long, but they got into something, I think.
Those night games, Coach.
I guess. They come back and move the ball right here, and we don't move it. They kick it off. We make a couple first downs, and that's Andre Pupwood Smith.
He is strong, too.
Pupwood's got a brother named Chainsaw. There's a great play right there by Greg Carr. Good pressure. That was a play right there that
3rd and 2.
Could have been disastrous for us, and they didn't convert.
29-yard field goal.
Kick a field goal, make it 14-3. This is an important drive for us right now. Come back when somebody scores against you. You like to come back and answer the call, and that's Collis Campbell running a sweep.
3rd and 1.
Bo comes back and breaks a sweep and runs over a couple of people there. And
here it comes.
Bo is having a good time playing, and Pat drops back and hits Clayton Buford with a perfect strike right down the middle. Clayton beat the corner and split the seam between the corner and free safety, and Pat hit him right between those two ones with the ball. And it looked mighty simple. I tell you what, there's 10 other guys out there got to execute perfectly to make that a good play, though, and he got to have protection, and he had excellent protection. And offensive line is having a good time playing. There's a fine play, a throw and catch on the part of Georgia Hockaday and Todd Williams throwing. There's Greg Carr again, along with Ben McCurdy and
3rd and 5.
Harold Hallman. Oh, you should have caught that one, Kevin. Nobody wanted to, in that whole stadium, wanted to catch it any worse than Kevin Porter. Kevin Porter, a freshman from Warner Robins, Georgia, started against Georgia last night and played well in the ball game.
Kevin Butler, automatic, another field goal, 40-yarder. Now we're in the 4th quarter.
There's another fine play by Greg Carr. Just every time you look up, he and Ben Thomas and Harold Hallman, and there he is again. Just time after time after time. I think if he doesn't make all All-American teams around the country this year, then there's going to be the biggest injustice that there's ever been. As Arthur Johnson.
3rd and 6. But this
Arthur played well last night. He's got
a penalty here, and then they got 3rd and 1.
I'll tell you what, that play right there, they caught that freshman to sleep over. Not really. Kevin will learn from that. That's good for him. It's good that happens to you in a game that you win. Well, this might have been the biggest play of the ball game right here, where they come down and make it a 20-12 ball game, and Brent Fullwood runs it back out to around the 50-yard line. We make a couple of first downs right here, and then they stop us, and Lewis Colbert comes in and kicks that ball out on the 1-foot line, 1 3-yard line, I guess. Now, you're talking about a great punt at a time when we certainly needed it. And a great play by Alvin Briggs, and oh, they're having fun playing, and that's what it's all about. As Kevin Green
fighting through 2 blocks.
Kevin Green Lieutenant Green is one of our #1 leaders right now on our football team, doing a great job. There's Mr. Carr again. He just
this is a series later now.
Right.
Late in the game now.
Got too much time to throw, and the ball is batted down to the line of scrimmage by Gerald Williams. Big play by Gerald.
3rd and 10 coming.
As a near miss throw and catch, and that's it. The ball goes over to Auburn, and we've got 4 downs to run off a minute and 11 seconds or something like that, and they jump off sides a couple of times and give us a couple more downs, so we're in good shape, and the game's over, and it's 21-12, and everybody from Auburn's happy.
What a team effort that was.
It was a fun football game. Phil, it was a game that you know, I think the players enjoyed playing. We've I think got our quickness back, and right now we're a team. For the first time all year long, I think that offensively and defensively, I don't think there's a soul on that here who's playing or who's not playing or who's running the football or who's playing quarterback or who's playing split end or who's playing tight end or who's playing in the secondary, whatever. Just as long as it's Auburn out there and they're all playing together and they're all playing with the same heartbeat, and that's what makes it so worthwhile to me. And I tell you, that's not easy to get. In order to have that, you got to have great leadership. And unselfish kids, and that's what we've got.
We'll be back in just a minute. One more hurdle, the big one, but in the meantime, there's bowls to be decided, and it'll be a busy week, huh?
Well, I don't know what the bowl situation is going to develop into. I'm not going to really worry a lot about it. If we go to Sugar Bowl, fine. If we don't, we'll go somewhere. And our biggest concern right now is playing Alabama. And I've watched Alabama all year long, and they've made steady improvement. Defensively, they're probably the best football team in the conference. And offensively, they're back on track and have had excellent games against Mississippi State, LSU, and again against Cincinnati yesterday. And they're certainly a capable football team, great kicking game. And there's no doubt they'll be ready to play, and no doubt Auburn will be too, and it should be a great football game.
And we'll be back in 2 weeks. Thank you.